Some of you have noticed that Danny and myself have been named as two of the male escorts that were hired by Diddy to participate in the freak-offs.
Our tenure was short, and we want to read a statement explaining to you why we were not only let go from, but also barred from future freak-offs.
On September 4th, 2006, while 72 hours into a freak-off, Diddy instructed me to lock hands with Family Matters star Reginald Vell Johnson and yell "wee" as he slid through our legs on a lubed-up floor, gently grazing our balls with the back of his hand before double-bouncing 90s rapper Ja Rule onto my genitals by way of mini trampoline, completely knocking naked comedian Bruce off his lubed up big wheel bike. It was at this point Diddy yelled, "Hey Ja, quit hogging the dick," grabbed me by my Velcro vest, stuck myself and rapper Paul Wall to the wheel of pleasure on the hotel wall, which Cassie stepped over Dustin Patrick Runnels' naked body to begin spinning while blasting circus music. As the wheel spun, I became unstuck and was knocked unconscious from the fall, only to wake up to Mr. Wall being instructed to retrieve his grill from my anal cavity while Diddy chanted "We gone fishing" into his megaphone. But as I attempted to stand up, still dizzy, I slipped on the lube, bumping one of the monitors displaying a video called to Cassie's now husband, and was instructed that my tenure at the freak-off had been terminated due to that infraction.
It was at this point I walked into the hotel wearing nothing but a 1991 ECW championship belt as instructed, introduced myself to the fellas and Cassie's now husband via video call, and began fulfilling my request to place the belt at the top of the ladder before Diddy leapfrogged over both Reginald and myself, screaming "Is gon' rain," and began urinating on himself, Reginald, rapper Chingy, Cassie, and myself, completely fogging up the scuba mask he had placed on me, as well as knocking comedian Cedric the Entertainer and New York Mayor Eric Adams off their two-man Sibian. I was then asked to slide over to freak off northeast corner and enter the conga line position between athlete Bruce Jenner and scientist Neil deGrasse Tyson, while Diddy mounted the ladder, proclaimed that black does crack, then bent over to expose his anus while making eye contact with me through his legs and whispering "peekaboo." Noticing that eye contact was made, which he considered a freak-off infraction, he demanded I sign my freakignation with his dildo pen, and I was escorted out of the room without pay by who appeared to be Will Smith in a mesh referee outfit.
I hope our statement clears up any confusion.
The boys! It's the BOYSCAST! The lads! It's the BOYSCAST! The dudes! Prepare yourself for BOYSCAST! The bros! It's the BOYSCAST! The homies! It's the BOYSCAST! The dudes! Experience the BOYSCAST! The BOYSCAST!
Get your freak off! Get your freak on! Danny is fresh off the trial. He was out there wondering if he could get a
Not guilty, baby. Exonerated.
Danny was out there like it was fucking, he was out there for Michael Jackson. That was the other one.
Yeah,
the last time you were this hyped up to try to get a man off.
The worst part was they go,
and Danny is getting men off.
We'd like to introduce a witness, the Punisher. I go, I'm the Punisher. What do you mean? We can't have two Punishers.
What the fuck?
What the fuck? That's what they call me.
The Punisher was, buddy, I've been knee deep in Diddy shit. Like, I'm telling you.
It's similar to
no
Diddy.
No pun intended. We're not going to talk the whole episode about this, but last night, I was going to do stuff for the podcast and I was going to edit yesterday. I had a whole bunch of stuff. I listened to like 9 podcasts about Diddy.
Oh, yeah.
It was
cottage industry right now.
I read every article. It's happening. The whole thing I was thinking is, how do I get into this trial? It's right there. And there's people that are like YouTubers and stuff that got in.
You can get in. I think you honestly just have to go at like 5 a.m.
Who do I have to blow while they're lubed up to get into the Diddy trial?
Ryan like blows somebody to get in and they go, you blew someone too? They go, oh, no, I just got here at 5.
No, people were getting in without showing up. I know that you think
there might be some like press thing, but I think there's like all trials are open, I believe, unless they're like a specifically like close to the public. I believe like it's first come first serve.
If the guy that's what's his name? We know him, a violin player from the
violin player,
or he's the fiddle player from Mumford and Sons.
Oh, Winston Marshall.
If that guy's getting in to ask questions to Trump, I can't get into the Diddy trial.
I think you
can.
How
am I not a journalist?
Haven't tried.
How am I not like a registered journalist to be able to do this?
That would be pretty sick. I would show up in all your fucking bad boy gear
and not know how court works. Like, I also have a question for the Punisher. Ryan from the BOYSCAST. You're like, that's not how this works. Ryan from the BOYSCAST here. I have a question for the Punisher.
What kind of punishment do you give? What's punishment like?
Diddy trial updates. Exotic dancer named the Punisher hired for 12 freak-offs. He testifies in the wild trial. This thing's going off the rails, my friend.
Crazy. And you know what? I looked into the Punisher. It's not...
Oh, yeah. First time Danny's looked into him.
Not all fucking roses being the Punisher.
The Punisher.
Punisher has a little bit of a dark arc here going on here. Punisher one day woke up and couldn't punish anymore. He might have I think this might be part of a lawsuit against Diddy. The main once the guy's found guilty, and then really all the people come out of the woodworks.
Fucking odd.
Because you're look, he has probably $250 million that's up for the taking.
100%.
Right? And we got to get it all. And what does he need it for?
Punisher needs to get fucking
Punisher
his beak wet.
Yeah, Punisher wants to get his fucking beak wet for sure.
Punisher needs his punishing beak wet for sure.
He's basically after the Diddy parties, I had so much pressure on me that my dick stopped working.
Well, one of the things he said is the Punisher wasn't happy with that Diddy kept yelling at him. Because
I can't work under this kind of pressure.
I mean, that would be fucking impossible. Can you imagine trying to fuck a chick and then Diddy is in the corner yelling, faster, harder. Ha! You call that a dick pull a shuck?
You're they called me. I didn't even call myself the Punisher. That's
Danny,
what they call me.
You're just sitting there in your full on leather bondage outfit while P Diddy's in the corner just smoking a cigar.
Yeah.
Just yelling and screaming at Danny Polishuk while Danny can't perform.
I can't work under these conditions, Mr. Diddy.
What is that? 3/4 hard? He gets his ruler out. What the fuck is this?
Why are you measuring the girth right now?
He pulls a level out and he's like, look at this. It's not even at 90 degrees right now.
Yeah, what is going on here?
You're
do you not find Cassie attractive? Is that your problem?
Has she not hot enough?
What are you, gay, bud?
Oh, I guess Danny Polishuk needs a supermodel. This isn't doing it for him. I don't know what does then.
This is a lot of pressure, man. A lot of pressure. The guy's on the penis pumps now.
Buddy, he has his...
he's a penis pump evangelist.
Punisher is trying to get paid off all this stuff.
Yeah,
he
wrote
released a book. So basically... Punisher's big thing was that he was having erectile dysfunction.
How many copies of the book?
Shout out to Hims.
Yeah, shout out to Hims. How many copies of the book you think he sold?
I think now it's starting to probably move off the shelf a little better. I don't think that
that's a pretty unique position, though. Guys who are
that is a unique position, trying to have sex with a girl while Diddy yells at you.
That's what I'm saying. You're it's not super, but yeah, it's so relatable. Yeah,
Right. I think he basically is trying to say I have a technique that was even able to overcome the most hardest of pressures.
Sure, which is penis pump.
No.
A penis. Penis
which is being in a scenario that is a circus, people slipping, sliding around the room, and then you have to get hard under that pressure.
Sure. But did this guy do porn, or was he just he was just an escort?
I think his main thing was he's an escort.
Right. So he never had to deal
I'm
with
sure he started an OnlyFans. He's trying to make his bag, you know what I mean?
But he never had to deal with some crazy director. That's the problem. So he's this is actually really...
Is there any porn directors that kind of come at you like that? Where it's
there's probably some difficult porn directors.
You know how they see the blowouts on real sets? I wonder if there are any blowouts on porn sets where the guy's
sure. They're all fucking coked up and...
Do not come! Look me in the eyes! Do not come! Do you hear? Apparently that's what Diddy's big thing is. He did not like it when the guy's busted.
Really?
Yeah, he was
because that's the show's over, I guess. Especially for the Punisher, where he's having problems to begin with.
Oh, great!
Yeah.
Well, I guess we have tea for the next 4 hours.
Well, let me see what other Punishers I have lined up right now.
Well, the Punisher finishes, and then Diddy's so what are we going to do I have the hotel for 3 hours now. Do you guys want to play Yahtzee?
I guess. You guys want to play some Chell or something?
How is it? Yeah. Diddy's not a happy camper if you bust prematurely, man.
Nah.
You were in for... You'd be better off trying to, pull a gun than you would have bust quick.
He's hey, can I talk to you for a second? You call that a punishment?
Yeah.
What's going on here?
Yeah, on the brochure.
You think he's the caring? He goes, is everything okay at home?
Sometimes he tried. I think Diddy tried different methods,
all over the place.
He was just listen, we both want the same thing here.
Cassie to get punished.
Me and you, I'm on the same team, pal. I'm trying to do everything I can. What's going on with you?
Yeah, is everything all right?
Everything right at home?
Do you need some special diet or
Is your it's
get you anything?
what's your home life like? Is your life okay? And he's like, oh, my life's not going great. I'm getting, being brought into a hotel room by some random famous guy. He didn't know he was the famous guy, by the way.
Oh, really?
Well, he says that he was like, he came in to punish like 10 times, and then after the 10 times, he walked into the hotel and they had like a big marquee like "Welcome P Diddy to the hotel."
Oh.
And then
Wow, crazy
That's what he said. I don't
Crazy
know.
that P Diddy wouldn't be doing this like on the DL. Like P Diddy shows up and you're like, can we fucking remove this, please? Or was he so comfortable with like doing all this crazy shit that he's like, yeah.
I told you it was like the one time when I was on a tour somewhere, and the guy came up to me in the openers and he was like, dude, you got to come by. I run a brothel. And he was like, you got to come by our brothel. And I was like, hey, I don't think we're going to be coming by your brothel. He's like, no, you don't understand. Like, we'll make it like a big, like, you'll be like a celebrity there. Like, we'll roll out the red carpet for you. Like, it'll be a big, he's like, basically, like, we'll put you on the socials. Like,
Sure.
I was just like, yeah, like that's making it less appealing.
Yeah, that's not great.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have comedian Ryan Long entering the bill. Everyone's like, oh.
You're just like in a little booth drinking a Bud Light.
I don't know if you think that makes it more appealing than we're going to make a big deal that you're here.
Yeah, you're like, I would like this confidential, please.
He runs a brothel. So this guy, basically, Diddy would walk in, and then the Punisher would come into Diddy's hotel room, and Diddy would have like, they didn't describe it as a shiesty. I think this was pre-shiesty mask.
Okay.
But essentially, Diddy would have his like face covered with just the eye holes.
balaclava.
Right. So the guy didn't know it was Diddy for the first like 10 punishments.
Oh, and then Diddy it was like the big, it's like the Masked Singer.
I think one day Diddy was just getting hot, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he took it off and he's like, what the fuck?
Diddy?
So I've been punishing for Diddy this whole time. Also, the Cassie girl is like a famous singer too.
Yeah. I'd never heard of her before this.
Neither had I. Or the Dawn girl.
I mean, that's the thing. It's like,
I think the
Bad
Dawn
Boy
girl-
Records probably has a pretty deep roster of famous chick singers.
Sure. I think the Dawn girl was on Making the Band, and that's where she came from.
Okay.
Remember when all those shows were
Yeah,
big?
of course. That first season Making the Band great.
I think some of these girls, they're probably on songs that you've heard. Like, you'd probably remember that song and be like, oh, she's the girl on that song, you know?
Is Dylon vindicated now from all of this stuff?
I guess so.
Is he like, yeah, maybe he wasn't so bad after
I saw that. So people remember, but the Chappelle Show did a skit where a guy goes, he's my favorite rappers are Dylon.
Yeah.
And then Dylon's been on the record basically saying that like
ruined
his
his
life.
I know, but I wonder if this...
Dylon's not happy with that Chappelle sketch.
No, but I wonder if this vindicates him a bit. He goes, I wasn't such a bad guy. I was dealing with fucking Diddy.
Yeah, look what I was dealing with.
Yeah.
So the Punisher basically, did up to 12 freak offs. First of all, the thing is, all of the assistants and everything, which maybe people knew, were all in on the whole thing,
course.
right? And now they're kind of their whole deal is like, I was afraid for my life. Because
Yeah.
Diddy basically told them, he was like, if people would snitch about this stuff, they have a tendency to go missing,
Oh,
right?
okay.
So
not good for Diddy then.
not good for Diddy.
No.
But the thing is, I mean, on the other side of it, where you can go, yeah, but like Danny, if you were working for Diddy and you're just like, yeah, I'm just like there, he's beating his wife every day, and then also I had to organize this orgy for him, works crazy. You'd be
Works
like
crazy.
and then you're just like, what am I supposed to do? If I tell anyone, you go, well, you don't have to go in tomorrow.
Yeah.
At the very least, call in sick.
Yeah, call in sick. There you go. I mean, I guess you're worried they'll find you.
Tell them you're going back to school, Polishuk. I'd be like,
It's like the mob, though. It's because once you're in, you're never out.
it doesn't really seem like that though. It feels like it feels like the vibe wasn't them pitching like I couldn't quit. It was, I think they're just kind of like, this is a job's a job.
Yeah, job's a job, and there are
Micro's
a
dirty
lot
jobs.
of benefits. There are a lot of perks to this job.
But it's the ball's on Diddy to go up to because you think he would mix in a few women just so people don't think he's gay,
Right.
Because he's getting all these people to do this for him, and then he was like,
well, he's not gay because he didn't want them to finish.
that's pretty straight.
Yeah,
yes.
pretty straight stuff.
But
He
you
goes,
think,
no, none of that fucking.
But he's like,
shit.
imagine telling your assistant, you're just like, okay, I'm gonna, we want a bunch of escorts. They're just like, rock and roll lifestyle. You know how we do. Who we're thinking? I'm thinking like Bill, Dave,
The Punisher.
Tom, the Punisher. Do you want some?
Oh, those are gigolos.
those are all men, and they're like, yeah, I guess throw a girl in there.
Yeah, I get a girl in there, I guess. Whatever, just for some diversity. I
Yeah, like,
suppose.
how are you not like? Aren't you embarrassed?
Aren't you embarrassed?
Aren't you embarrassed going up to your
Sounds like he's a
assistant
little
and making your assistant help you order men?
Sounds like he's a little fruity. That must have been such a hard thing.
Hold on, ladies and gentlemen, we have the revelation of the century.
Sounds like that was tough.
Hold the presses.
I guess that's the whole 50 cents thing, right?
Hold the presses, everybody.
A little bit of a
Stop.
fruitcake.
Danny has a fucking hot take that this whole thing seems a little fruity.
A little fruity, yeah.
Yes, it's the most fruity shit in the world.
Yeah, I guess that's
It's
like...
a bowl of Fruit Loops, my friend. He's Toucan Sam.
Yeah. Toucan Sam. I guess, yeah, he probably was like fucking...
He doesn't like cans, though, so he's zero cans Sam.
I guess he couldn't really get caught doing gay shit, so he's like, this is the closest he could get to it.
But he was caught by his assistants. Like, a lot of people knew that he was up to this business.
Yeah.
So he didn't really keep it on the DL.
No.
But he was just like, everyone also know. But in his mind, he was pitching to people like, nah, dude, that's actually the least gay shit ever.
He's like, this is Hollywood.
This is more male to female sex happening. Do you know how much male to female sex is happening in this room?
It's like, what is gay about 8 chicks running a train on your girl while you watch with a balaclava on?
Actually, really straight.
Really straight stuff. Really straight stuff, yeah. So
he...
Alpha male P. Diddy.
He's obviously was gay, but I think, there's a part of him that he was like, there's nothing gay about this.
What do you think he's doing in prison? Like,
I'm a freak.
You think he's getting into some gay stuff? You think he has like some fucking like prison cell Diddy parties going on?
I don't think he's there yet.
Yeah.
Because he still thinks he might get out. And by the way, he might.
Yeah, he might get out for sure.
Like, they have to prove without a reasonable doubt, and they brought the Dawn girl out.
Yeah.
So the Dawn girl, she had a
soap?
Sorry?
Dawn soap, Eris?
What's that?
No, nothing. Stupid.
I don't get it. What's the joke?
I don't know.
Johnny, do you get that
It
one?
was all the oil and soap and stuff. He was lubing him up.
Oh.
That was stupid.
It's fucking stupid.
Edit that out.
I'm not a big soap guy.
Yeah. I wash my body with shampoo.
So this girl, she was also a Bad Boy Records person.
Okay.
And then he was banging her too. And then her testimony, she kind of was like not...
Wait, he was unfaithful to Cassie? What a pig.
Well, the Dawn girl, essentially, she came out and then she wrote one thing on her police record, which was like he was beating her up with eggs and a spatula. And then he wrote another thing basically saying he heard it.
When she caught him when he was fucking having a tough time making breakfast?
Yeah, that's what happened. She didn't make breakfast for him in time. He came down after the freak off, so he liked to have breakfast made for him. He used a lot of energy.
He beats her up with all the breakfast. He goes, slap me with the bacon and stuff.
Yeah, and
threw
then
a loaf of bread at me.
and then Diddy went up to the whole staff in the house, and he was like, "Just so you know, this is family business.
Yeah.
Like any of you say shit, you're gonna be real problems." But then she did a police report. She did her other suit. So she said like a different story, like 12 different places.
Yes.
And then after all this, she went and banged him like a month later.
They always seem to do that, huh?
So her story, there's parts of it where it's looking like it could go either way. You know what I mean? Also, all the Cassie stuff, again, she was like, he was like definitely beating her up. They were definitely buying prostitutes.
There's a video.
There's
literally a video of him beating the shit.
And there had all the prostitutes. But on the other side of it, where you were like, there is something to be said about if you were grown up and then you participated in this thing for 3 years. It only works for a girl, like a woman. I guess it's more sympathetic to be like, I had no choice.
Yeah. Women just go, I had no choice.
It would obviously never stick for a man.
No. If the Punisher's like, I had no choice.
But the actual, the other side of this story is that not the other side, but like all they need to do is put like doubt in their mind, right? So they're like, no, Cassie, she's like the Ghislaine Maxwell of this whole thing.
Yeah.
She's procuring other people.
Now she's just trying to save face.
Well, maybe, yeah. I mean,
that's the argument.
Again, yeah, they don't, and again, they don't have to prove these arguments. They have to prove that maybe it was that.
Yeah.
Like
we gotta get in this courtroom.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Okay. I was literally at 4 a.m. last night just looking up how do you get into courtrooms.
What you should have done is fucking hopped in an Uber and drove down to fucking the courthouse.
Yeah, but that wouldn't have got me in. I would have just went there and been a fucking another schmo standing outside.
I think it's literally like, you wait in a line and they just take the first like certain amount of people. Like I think it's like camping out for a new Xbox.
Right. I think it is like waiting for your Taylor Swift tickets, but at the same time, it's probably like 40 people get in and there's probably 8,000 people waiting. I'm not going to be able to do that. So I was at 4 a.m. being like, I considered posting, like, does anyone have a Connect?
You're on StubHub? Like, Diddy court tickets. Oh, these are pricey.
Also, it's interesting that they would get in all these big fights and then they'd have like a makeup freak off. Can you imagine?
That's a million couples. Well, minus the freak off part, but.
Yeah, but like, not really, because can you imagine you and your girl, like obviously you can get in people have gotten in a fight and then have sex after.
Yeah. Yeah, it is weird to get in a fight and be like, you want makeup sex? You go, yeah, but not with me.
Yeah. It's like, I'm so sorry I said those things. Like it obviously got out of hand. You want to call 9 guys over and hash this thing out? He's like, well, imagine getting in a fight and your makeup sex is calling 12 other men over to bang your girl.
I mean, the guy's got a Tootsie Roll. What's he going to do with it?
Also, he was getting...
Yeah.
That one girl was shitting on him saying he has a Tootsie Roll. I think that was the Dawn chick, maybe.
Maybe. So...
They also have like the interesting things that I made note of. It was kind of just an overall point, not even so much just about this.
Yeah.
But they have like 3 different lawyers. Like they have like a black chick, like a white guy, and I forget what the other one is. But they match the different lawyer. Like when they have a black girl on the stand, they have like the
black girl like cross-examines her or whatever.
Yeah, like so they basically do it. It's kind of like makes perfect sense.
It removes like any sort of racial bias kind of.
But think about I was going to say more that it's about how the jury perceives like a white guy yelling at a black woman.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure. It's like you have a black woman yelling at a black woman and like being nasty to her and you go, okay, well I have to remove any sort of potential like bias from this equation.
Yeah, and it was kind of making me think like, there's so many, when everything gets like crazy, there's so many people that like have to lie in terms of like for politics, for this, you're saying something that is kind of not true.
Sure.
But it's always when it comes back down to it, like when you're talking about like, making money, when it comes down to like law, like ask a lawyer, like for example, when they're getting rid of the jurors, right? They're just like, we want, okay, like for example, like a black man is going to be more sympathetic to domestic violence than like a white woman. But it's funny because, they would say these things like, white men are the most sexist or whatever. And
you're saying sympathetic to doing domestic violence.
I guess the point I'm trying to make, which I'll try to simplify, that you might say, like a blogger, for example, might say like a white guy's the most sexist, right?
Yeah.
But then when it actually counts, if any of those people was a lawyer and they were picking juries, they'd be like, well, you said that's the most sexist. They'd be like, well, obviously I don't actually think.
Yeah, of course.
When it actually comes down to the, real, there's money on the line. We have to pick who's actually more sympathetic to this, who's more sympathetic to that. It becomes, all of the like bullshit goes out the window.
Yeah, all the bullshit goes away. Yeah. It's like how people kind of say things. I can't remember what it's called, but it's like how people like it's like some sort of bias or preferencing where people like will say stuff, but then they actually act differently.
Yes, and when you're like picking jurors, it was like it's a kind of like the most purest form. I can think maybe like your own thoughts. Making like picking stocks but no one's watching, and then picking jurors is to be up there among the most pure form of we know all the stereotypes and we know which ones are true and which ones aren't. Like there's zero stereo. Like there's like no don't stereotype. We're like okay.
Dude, 5 dudes in a do-rag on the fucking jury going, okay.
Who's more sympathetic to crime here? The white women. You're like, hey, you like in your average life, you might, or some people would, probably some of these lawyer people, New York lawyers would have to be just like, neither is more likely to be more sympathetic to.
No idea.
But so I was kind of thinking this is like almost like the purest form of like real what stereotypes are true and which ones aren't and what different groups are which way is picking jurors.
But that's the problem. There is this whole like element of like game element of it too, because it's like you don't have unlimited. Like you only have like a certain amount, so like you got to pick your spots because you only get to like dismiss a certain amount before you go. You have no more dismissals.
Yeah, in your domestic violence trial, like you only have you can only get rid of 4 white chicks and there's 6.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean.
Oh. So, like, then you're like really getting granular about what type of white chicks are these.
Right.
Would you say you're partial to a menthol cigarette, white chick?
Yeah. So, and then there's apparently like apparently like they have texts or videos or like or it was testimony that Cassie also was like telling other girls like I'm gonna kill you if you don't do this.
Whoa.
Like, yeah, apparently like they're trying to some degree put it in the ethos that she's might be like the Ghislaine Maxwell
she's
or whatever.
Part of this. You think in her mind she's like, I still have a music career at the end of this, and this is like
she's made so much money. She's already 30 mil at this point.
Oh, damn.
I think she's in for 30 mil, and then on top of that, she has some sort of deal that they can't really prosecute her. So
okay, she has
some sort of deal. I don't know what exactly it is, but it's like a
cooperation deal, essentially.
It's not it's not a cooperation deal. She has more like a sexual victims deal.
Oh, gotcha.
You know what I mean? It's actually like the cooperation deal. I think you don't want that because the cooperation deal makes your testimony worthless. So if you come in and the jury, that's the first thing they just said, like,
are you trying to save your own ass right here? Kind of.
Oh, they just go, and what deal did they make you so you to say this?
Yeah.
But they're like, I have like the standard sexual assault victims, some version of that. I'm not being precise with that. They also, interesting is that, so the fact that she's pregnant is obviously like very helpful, right? Because now she's like, I'm a family woman, I'm with this guy. And it was interesting to me to think,
fucking saint,
was that on purpose?
That guy's a saint.
That guy, yeah.
Video calling during the freak off.
He's kind of like in the mix.
Yeah, he knew
about all this shit.
For sure he knew about it.
He's probably having his own freaks.
I mean, he seems just like a normal, like, fucking dude, though. I saw the photo of him. He doesn't, like, he's not like some famous guy or anything.
Hard to say. I'm not that deep on that guy.
He seems like a guy you go, that guy was like an agent. Like he was just like in the periphery of the
It's hard for me to know whether that guy's like a mastermind or whether that guy like a mastermind now where he was like, this is, we're going to sue here and get the money and this and that. Like, and he's actually somewhat, the brains behind
like this is his revenge tour a little bit.
To some degree.
He goes, you fucking called me during the freak off. He goes, this is how I'm going to get my revenge.
Well, maybe, but also he might have been instrumental in like getting that $30 million.
Oh, I'm sure he
is now
I'm sure he helped with that.
Partially his. So I don't know if that's true or, he's the guy that's like, this sucks.
Yeah, he's definitely a guy who's like, this sucks. The 30 million doesn't hurt.
It's possible he's not a guy that's like, this sucks. It's possible he was a guy that was like, orchestrating, like,
yeah. Well, that's the thing. The biggest way to save face is you go, yeah, my wife is a victim of crimes.
Yeah,
and that's how you kind of clean up that whole thing.
Oh, if Diddy goes to jail, this guy's life's better. If Diddy's out, this guy's life stinks.
Nightmare. You go, you're just like a liar and fucking your wife's a hoe.
If Diddy does not go to jail, this guy is not going to be a happy camper. Let's leave it at that. We don't have to go much deeper. Let's leave it at that.
Let's hope she didn't make him sign a prenup. She probably did, but let's hope she didn't.
This guy, there's no one praying for this to be a guilty charge more than that guy.
That guy, 100%. Ugh.
Yeah, so that's all interesting. But anyway, the point I was making was I wonder if she got pregnant like before strategically.
Or is like pregnant.
Fake preg. Like they were like, hey, the trial's gonna happen. Let's like fucking get prego 6 months before, so we'll be fucking bursting at the thing. Fellas, I cannot recommend True Classic enough. I was just going on tour last weekend, and I remember noting as I was putting 4 different True Classic shirts into my suitcase.
Can't go wrong.
You can't go wrong. They've got you covered. They make you look good. They accentuate the arms. They stay away from the belly. Yep. It is a nice shirt, and you have multiple of them, so you know what I mean? You turn into Batman with these True Classic.
Pretty much.
It'll make it's once you get on this, it will be part of your wardrobe probably forever.
Yeah.
And I don't want to guarantee that. I don't know the legality around guarantees, but they are great. True Classic has one mission to make sure guys look good, feel better. They nailed the feel, the price across your entire wardrobe, not just the tees, but the hoodies, jeans, activewear, everything you need to level up your everyday style. But True Classics is not just about great clothes, fellas. Their brand DNA is built on being highly intentional in everything they do, from creating high quality essentials to delivering Ritz-Carlton level customer service, giving back to communities they believe in. Every detail is done on purpose, guaranteed to get the ladies going, is that Danny Polishuk? Oh my God. No. Holy God damn, Danny is looking good. What a glow up, as one woman actually once said about Danny Polishuk. Probably was wearing True Classic at the time.
Yeah.
I've been wearing them, and from the first piece I put on, knew it was different. Snug where you want it, relaxed where you need it, no weird bunching, no awkward tight spots, just a clean, effortless fit that works. Forget overpriced designer nonsense. Skip the cheap throwaways. True Classic delivers premium essentials built for real life. Grab yours at Target, Costco, or you can head to trueclassic.com/boyscast. Use our promo code trueclassic.com/boyscast to get hooked today. Boys, if you are consistently on the move, or you're just tired of skipping meals, Huel's got you covered. The most for the boys brand going. Huel, they're today's sponsor, Huel. We're talking about the Black Edition ready to drink Total game changer. I have those at my house in plentiful, which I actually had one on the way to the studio this morning.
35 grams of protein, man.
35 grams of protein. They're not messing around, man.
No, sir.
35 grams of protein. They've got the vitamins essentials. This is a meal in a bottle, ladies and gentlemen. And also, in addition to the ready-to-go ones, you can actually get you have a big bag.
Yeah. Just the scooper. And
the scooper and the bag.
home.
I have both, yeah. So I've been cooking on those. It's a complete meal in a bottle. 35 grams of protein, 27 vitamins, minerals, high in fiber. What other place are you getting your fiber and your protein? You know what I mean?
Good point. Yeah.
So many other places you're like, that's a big thing that a lot of the guys that are getting in shape is too much protein. They're missing out on the fiber.
Man, fiber makes you feel full.
I know. So that's why I know that's the biggest part.
Fiber's a big hack.
Kind of realized that in the last actually 6 months. This is a new fact to me that I wasn't realizing.
Fiber is very important.
You need all these things, and they're also low in sugar, so you feel full focused, ready for your day. No prep, no cleanup, just grab and go. Huel's already sold 500 million meals around the world. Now it's your turn. New customers are going to get 15% plus a free gift at Huel.com when you use the code BOYSCAST. Do not miss out. Try it today because this is a perfectly balanced meal, while saving you time, designed by experts to provide the nutrients your body needs for a meal. Huel takes the guesswork and time out of healthy eating. No prep, no cooking. They taste good. It's incredibly affordable with protein meals less than $5. It's budget-friendly option that I'm genuinely excited about. So my personal favorite, like I said, Black Edition, ready to drink because it's got a whopping 35 grams, the 27 vitamins and minerals, as Danny told you earlier in this segment. Start saving money without compromising your nutrition today with the exclusive offer for new customers, 15% plus a free gift. Use the code BOYSCAST at Huel, Huel.com. That is 15% plus free gift for new customers using the code BOYSCAST, Huel.com. And please see our description for the terms and conditions. Skip the stress, not the nutrition. Try Huel today. Complete nutrition bottled. I don't know.
That's fucking diabolical.
Okay,
Wouldn't
so
put it past them.
let's just read the Punisher article.
Yeah.
So Diddy's live trial updates. Exotic dancer named the Punisher hired for 12 freak-offs. He testifies in wild deal. Sheree is his name.
Sounds right. Checks out.
I can imagine fucking your check. You go. Imagine you ran into a guy. You and your Jewish union.
Yeah.
You run into a guy. It's like, oh, that's my ex. You Sheree, the Punisher.
Why did he call him the
Well, I don't know if he's my ex. You should just come off over and punish me with a bunch of dudes.
I don't love that.
My ex-boyfriend hired the Punisher to fucking give it to me. You go, who's your ex-boyfriend? Famous rapper. You go, you know.
All right.
You know, all right.
Should have told me this on like the first or maybe second day.
Danny's getting angry. Danny's getting angry. Can't think I stick.
Sheree Hayes.
Sheree.
Yeah.
He testified that his book, the name of his book, In Search of Freezer Meat, men's self-help book about erectile dysfunction by way of a penis implant that he says features Sean Diddy Combs and Cassie. Hayes said earlier that his experienced sexual performance issues when he was around Combs and Ventura, specifically experienced anxiety maintaining erection. He testified that he used Cialis, Viagra, even corner store pills to fight the issue, but ultimately he had performance issue due to Combs directing him during sex.
Hey man, couldn't handle the pressure cooker.
I've definitely had situations where I don't get it up.
Yeah, is it the director's fault?
You've said you never had that. I've definitely
never had it.
And
once.
always like the hotter the girl, the more the pressure.
Sure.
Or I don't know. There's just high pressure situations. Whereas like
my high pressure
some
situation
slob
was
would never be a problem.
Yeah, I was like the exact opposite. If the girl's too hot, I go like, fuck, can you last longer than fucking 45 seconds?
Yeah, there's more going on in my brain than you, man. It's fucking.
Mine's just like do.
I know. Sometimes I wish.
No, my brain is just like, just happy to be here. Just like fucking guy who's been in the minor leagues for fucking 15 years gets called up to the bigs for one game. I go, just having a cup of coffee, just happy to be here.
Yeah, my brain's thinking all. My brain's woo, 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 woo. You know, you're thinking this, you're thinking that, you're thinking this. So those scenarios would get me. I'm bricked up now because I'm juiced. You know what I mean?
Me too.
I haven't probably had a situation in years. The thing is, even just knowing you have the brick in your pocket helps.
For sure. Yeah.
Like for me, knowing that I had a brick available knows that I don't need one. You know, if you got a boner in the pocket, you don't need one in the fucking. A boner in the pocket's worth one in the.
I wonder if the penis implant for the Punisher is like similar placebo effect, where he just knows that he has the penis pump, and then he's just like,
that's what I'm saying. It's not a placebo. It's like knowing that you're gonna be fine.
Yeah.
It's kind of like someone that has enough money that. Okay, so imagine you have enough money that you never had to work again. There's like a certain level of risk that you're fine with. It doesn't stress you out.
Of course.
So I think that knowing the bottom floor of worst case scenario is that I go take a pill and I'm fine in 40.
Yeah.
That like reassurance in your brain makes me never have a problem.
See, that's the thing. I would actually be most stressed out of all potential scenarios of the scenario where I go, yeah, I just got to go pump my dick up.
Well, I'm not talking about pumps.
That's what I'm saying, or whatever, where he's like, he's got the implant, and he goes, like, I don't know how those work, like if you have to add air to them or something.
I mean, I don't think
like you're at some chick's house, he's like, do you have a bike pump by chance?
Where's the outlet? Oh, you have to charge your iPhone? Yes.
Yes, this thing's a 40 PSI. Can your bike pump do that? Go, what are you talking about?
You're just
in the bathroom, just like, I'm ready.
You have a fucking generator.
That'd be the most stressful.
Yeah, you do not want to. Pumping's insane.
Yeah, that's like crazy.
Yeah, I don't know who wants to get on this pumping business.
I guess it's the last resort.
Well, you took out. Why can't I see how this work?
This guy's like the classic thing. You know, they say if you don't use it, you lose it. He used it too much and he lost it.
He wasn't using it that much though, because he couldn't handle being yelled at. Me. Personally, a sexual scenario with a woman's partner present and actively giving me directions was not the norm for me.
I mean, are you a professional or not?
Exactly.
Yeah, like sometimes you're a fucking plumber and then you show up at some house and some woman's like, doing like that. And you go, yeah.
As a comedian, I can operate under any circumstances.
Sure.
The mic goes down, someone shows up, starts yelling.
I mean, it's just called professionalism.
It's called professionalism. Maybe you're in the wrong profession, Punisher.
Sounds like it. It sounds like that's why he's not doing too much punishing these days.
It created discomfort that could affect my performance. Both Ventura and her mom, Regina Ventura,
mom was there?
Yeah.
No, okay.
Oh, this is. Oh, so she had so the mom and her testified that aside from Diddy, she was having side things with Punisher.
Oh.
So Punisher, after he laid it down, her and Punisher had a side thing, and then Diddy was really unhappy with that.
Oh, so she liked the Punisher.
Yes.
She's a fan of the Punisher.
Yes, so basically brought in all these people, they were banging, and then Diddy was directing, and then she ended up like getting the Punisher's digits after, like, good work out there. Like, hey, we should work out sometime.
Yeah, we should work out. We should just share techniques and whatnot. Talk shop. A little shop talk.
Nothing out of the ordinary. It's kind of like when you just go to, you go to play pickleball with a friend, and then you meet someone else on the court, and you go, oh, why don't we do a game one time? That's kind of with the Punisher. He wanted to do one off the books with no payment. So Cassie was getting a freebie from the Punisher with Diddy not there. But when Diddy was there yelling at him through the megaphone, he wanted to be paid.
This book is the #1 new release in male impotence on Amazon.
Now it is. I can't imagine he was selling any copies about his penis pump book before this shit.
I don't think he only has 1 5-star review. So like 1 review period.
What did the review say?
I can't. It's just what he just has. See customers.
Love the pump.
Here we go. Mike C. Such a great. This is from today. It says, such a great read. Raw, honest, and unexpectedly hilarious. Freezer meat dives. This is written by him. Freezer meat dives
review for sure by him.
Dives into the world of a male exotic dancer battling erectile dysfunction and the pressure to perform both on and off stage. Shrehays breaks taboos with humor and heart. This is not a real review. This is just like the fucking.
That's not a review.
Cover,
that's like putting my biography.
Yeah,
in
this is
my
like the
review.
actual thing of sharing his journey with fearless vulnerability and just the right dose of.
It'd be like if someone left a comment on this podcast. Long and Polishuk fearlessly address.
It's like, you wrote that. It's bold, brave, and refreshingly real. A must read for anyone ready to laugh, reflect, and rethink what masculinity really means. No way someone bought this and that's the review they left.
Also, it is hilarious, period, being a male dancer that can't get it up. Also, like, if you have trouble getting it up, what made you decide to be a male? Like, if you've ever had, like, you know, even if like 10% of the time you've had times we can't get it up, what makes you think, like, you know what I should be is a fucking male stripper?
Here's the thing. This is a classic athlete's problem. Right, like high performing athletes.
You think you got the yips?
You got the yips, yeah. You get to the bigs and you got the yips. You're like Rick Ankiel or fucking like some golfer where you go.
When he was banging,
I can't sink a 6-foot putt right now.
When he was banging some 650-pound bachelorette.
Yeah, when you're in the minor
bachelorette's
leagues,
friend in a bear costume.
Yeah, you go no issues, and then you get called up to the big leagues, the fucking bright lights.
I actually want to do a video before where I said that. Do you think that it's bad to discriminate? They should be allowed to discriminate against white people because of their race at a workplace setting? And I go, because I was not hired because of my race. What job? I was trying to be the dancing bear, and they want a black guy.
It's unfair.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but anyways, he just had the yips.
He had the yips a little bit. He was having no trouble when it was just like some 70-year-old slobby fucking hoe.
Of course, that's easy.
Some retired widow.
Mm-hmm.
That was calling on him in her fucking Nashville trip and decided to take down a Magic Mike backup dancer.
Here's the introduction is called of the book. I got a little excerpt here.
I'm listening.
Introduction. Our cocks, ourselves. Why do dicks loom so large in our imaginations?
They don't mind. Maybe in yours. Johnny's imagination.
Chapter 2. The brain dick pipeline. Fixing your mental health can fix how you feel about your cock.
The brain dick pipeline for Danny is fucking severed, man. The dick's in charge. The brain is put into a corner and that room is locked, my friend.
Chapter 3. Unshaming your shaft. Making space for vulnerability with erectile dysfunction.
This is like some feminism shit for men.
Kind of. Yeah. It's like real, like fucking.
You can picture a bunch of guys in like a support group holding hands together. Guys, today we're going to be unshaming the shaft.
I love how he just uses cock so freely. Like chapter 5, dysfunction junction. Everything that can go wrong physically with your cock. Chapter 6.
Dude, do a book club review.
Chapter 6.
The Punishers.
Stock your toolbox. All the correctives for your cock.
What's a corrective? Like you have like, you know, when you break your leg and they put like a stick there and they tape it to it. Is that what they do? They get like, they have a sling on your dick sort of situation.
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, they correct. I think corrective.
I think the implant. I don't know what an implant is. I think it's like maybe it's just like a little metal a tube or like a metal thing, like one of those snap bracelets you had when you were a kid, you know. And then they just go ding. Yeah, it just curls back up. It's just a perfect circle.
That's so funny.
Yeah. So
that's it.
Yeah, that's it for the most of them. I'm not gonna read it anymore.
Anyways, okay, they have that. I like this shit. This is, he says what Combs said. He goes, Combs was sitting on the side of the room and he goes, I like this shit. That's the kind of things he says. He's holding a camera. He goes, yeah, I like this shit. Once told the pair after chucking cash on a bed while the escort and Ventura were having sex, Sheree, the Punisher, Hayes testified. So the Punisher was banging her, and then he came and threw a bunch of money on the bed, and he goes, I like this shit.
Thank you, sir. It's just nice to be recognized.
Thanks, boss.
Thanks, boss.
Hayes said Combs at one point threw condoms on the couch, told him in an assertive and aggressive tone that he was ready to see him. That would be hard to perform under those circumstances.
Hey, man, it's not for everybody.
Get your dick out.
Yeah.
All right. Like he's yelling at you like a drill sergeant.
I mean, you get called in for a save in the 9th inning. It's your fucking job. I don't know what to tell you.
This is your moment.
Yeah. You're withering under the bright lights and you're blaming the fucking coach. And you're like,
he is, exactly.
Yeah. You go, I don't know what to tell you.
You know what? If you're going to call yourself the Punisher and then show up and then you drop the bat before you're about to make a hit.
You're like, do I bat lefty or righty?
You can't even remember if you bat left or right.
I don't know. Do I put the top hand on top or the top hand on bottom? I don't know. All right. This isn't for you, man. I hate to break it to you. There's a lot of excuses.
Hayes said that he wanted them to create a scene, and Combs was like a movie director during the marathons, while Ventura were like actors in the scenario. So he would give them roles, sort of thing.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, he was a creative guy.
He's like, you're a detective. And
oh, yeah, like a whole story. He goes, you don't know your lines?
He goes, all right, Cassie, or no, Punisher, you're Riggs, and Cassie, you're Murphy. So what's going to happen in this scene is your partner just died and he brought it up and you don't like to talk about that. So, and then also, Cassie, you're getting a little old for this job. So if there's any lines you might want to say in there about getting too old for this kind of shit.
That would be good.
Action!
You think he edited these videos at all?
Then Punisher has to come in.
Like was he like the next day just like on Premiere Pro?
Was he on Premiere?
Just like editing the shit back
Cooking
together?
through them, yeah.
Or were they just like the video was the video?
I bet you he put them to his music and stuff like that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. He probably had a good time with it. It wasn't just a one night thing.
I definitely think he was cooking up scenes like that, though.
Yeah, and like he would have his friends over. Because he probably had like a movie studio or a movie theater in his house, and like be like I'm playing some of my top freak offs.
I think so. He put it on and he probably had like it goes over the top the full IMAX.
Yeah,
but the full like dome IMAX.
Sure.
And he was like, okay, let me put on the one where one last job. So I was like, the Punisher was retired and she comes back and she's like, I need you to pound me. And he goes, I don't, and he goes, one last pound. And he goes. And then he goes, we have your kid to hold hostage, and there's only one way to get him back. And then he comes in.
These are like disaster artist level movies. Like,
yeah, I think
everybody's like, this is the worst shit I've ever seen.
So, and he's wearing a balaclava the whole time. Don't forget that ski mask.
Gotta be.
Punisher Hayes said the first time he was hired to enact a sexy scene for Cassie, he didn't recognize the music mogul because he was naked wearing a Muslim face covering. So.
Okay.
They had baby oil on themselves, and then a naked man came into the dimly lit room. I could not see his face. They're basically there. He's got the lighting set up, and then P Diddy sort of like sidles into the room wearing full Muslim, but he's naked other than this like Muslim headgear.
Okay.
Hayes says he was hired by the pair for 8 to 12 times, and he just got okay. So, anyways, also just another thing that. On the topic of escorts, because someone sent this to me, but basically, I guess one of the main like escort sites that people use. I think JJ fucking does this one actually.
Probably
when he's up to his fucking
I'm
tricks.
Sure
He's talked about it. I don't know. It's hard to know with him what he talks about that's real and what he talks about that he's trolling. You know what I mean? But anyways, let me show you this. It's so this is the front page of the escort site. We'll put that on the screen maybe. So. Essentially, and I think someone posted, they're just like
looks like a feminist escort site.
Well, that's what I mean. They're like, even on the escort sites, they can't get away from this shit.
Yeah.
So it's like a 300-pound. By the way, if you looked at this, it's a 300-pound escort.
Cartoons.
An escort in a wheelchair. An escort.
What?
With super hairy legs. And then a guy that's clearly gay with like I guess the normal looking black chick, and then a big bald looking black chick or maybe a trans person,
probably.
But it is funny.
Arms.
But it's like looks like the commercials in 2016, but it's the escorts say.
That's crazy.
Who's getting a dude?
Diddy was getting his escorts from there?
No.
Oh,
maybe I don't know. He's probably getting them from everywhere. But someone just sent me this separately on the topic of escorts. But I'm saying, how funny is it that imagine you order an escort and a girl in a wheelchair shows up?
Probably costs extra, to be honest.
I don't think we want to put the name of the reason I'm specifically not saying the name of it is because I feel like that's the type of shit that gets you.
Yeah, zapped on YouTube.
Yeah, zapped on YouTube is starting promoting fucking illegal prostitution sites.
Sure.
Anyways, so there's lots of crime going on this episode, and I have, on the, I guess maybe I'm in legal mind frame because I'm so knee deep in it.
Some of your fucking first 48 hours and shit.
So maybe that's what's catching my eye a little more. But I'll tell you the Canadian hockey situation.
Yeah.
Is which you've been following probably, right? It's hard not
for a long
to.
time. I mean, literally.
Yeah, we've talked about it a few times.
Got five like not star NHL players, but like a couple of them were like pretty high end NHL players. Carter Hart, specifically goalie for the Flyers, were like they're just cut from the team essentially over this.
And it also made me laugh that Chris Robinson used to have a joke that he was like the only two people that love gangbangs is like absolute gangsters and then hockey players.
Hockey players, yeah.
Which is so funny.
And another thing with Canadians that is the term puck bunny is a real thing. Where there's like at every level of organized hockey, there's just girls around who just want to fuck the hockey players.
Yeah.
Right. Like, so that like there is this element to it,
Especially in a small town.
small town. Like that's the thing. People don't. I mean, I don't know.
It's like basketball players in Miami.
Yeah, it's not even like basketball. Like I guess if you're like play single A baseball in some small town, you're probably like the star fucking of the.
Yeah, it depends on how big of a deal the sport is in that
but
town.
it's like if you're like anywhere in the Canadian Hockey League.
Where I grew up, that was not the case.
No, because you grew up in a bigger city, but it's like
I grew up in a multicultural city. Is the most
But I'm
important
saying,
part
like, if
of
you
that.
go to like small town Ontario, like if you play for like the Barrie Battalion or whatever, and you're like in the OHL,
yeah,
you're like the biggest celebrity.
Licensed to Prince.
You're the biggest. You're 16 years old. You're the biggest celebrity in the city. Yeah.
You're the biggest celebrity for 10-year-old boys and 18-year-old women.
Yes, exactly, and maybe 40-year-olds,
and maybe 50-year-old women. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. I mean,
So these guys were like overseas, I guess, on a tournament.
No. This happened at the World Juniors.
Where was Where was the World Juniors?
I don't know where it was that year. No, I think it was in London, Ontario.
So they went back with this girl.
That's why the case is in London. Is in Ontario.
Yeah, the hockey players basically had a freak off.
Yeah, they had a freak off essentially.
She, just fucking Chuck and Todd, like fucking buddy, just fucking rip her down there. They always do. There's so many fucking. When I used to play, because I played like AA, which is the second highest level for a lot of years playing hockey, right? And there was always these rumors that people talked about the hazing. I never experienced any of it or saw any of it, but like I remember so many people when I was just like 13 telling me that like, oh, if you play on that team, like which is like the Ajax Axemen or whatever, like the junior team, like if you get up to junior, what happens is like when they get the new rookies, they take them and they tie a string to their dick and they take the string and it goes over
to a bucket, over a rafter,
over to a bucket, and then they shoot pucks into the bucket and it tugs on your dick.
Yeah, I heard that.
So I've heard a lot of that
My friend played
shit.
like 6 months on the Kitchener Rangers, which is the OHL.
Did he ever have to do the dick bucket?
He said he got shit thrown at him all the time.
Shit.
Like in the shower, he'd just be showering because he was like the rookie on the Kitchener Rangers, and literally like he would just be like in the shower and people would just be like literally shit in their hands and throw it at him.
Wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of rumors about this stuff, but basically the trial that is now coming out is like sort of looking good for them.
Yeah.
It goes, Hockey Canada complainant. How do you say that word?
Complainant?
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 Compliant?
Complainant?
Complainant? Says she took on porn star persona because it seemed like what's they wanted to see. A woman allegedly saying she was sexually assaulted by 5 professional hockey players in London, Ontario hotel room. Oh, London's a hockey town for sure.
Yeah.
She took on a porn star persona as a coping mechanism in a room surrounded by men she didn't know. So she basically went home, banged all the dudes, and then kind of after the fact is saying that like, well, I didn't want to, but like I was kind of like in this scenario that was so much pressure on me, and if I didn't, I felt like unsafe if I left, but I never verbalized any of this sort of thing. And it kind of when there's a lot of like this thing's been going on for a while, and one of the crazy things that's happening is the league gave her like a big payout in a civil suit, right?
Hockey Canada did. So this is Hockey Canada, which is like the governing body.
But sorry, let me just say the funny part is that when they did the whole payout, a lot of the minor hockey league money goes into that.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are like, I'm paying like, $3,000 a year to put my kid in hockey, and half that money's going to pay off.
Some like fucking rape complaint, and you go, well, your kid's about to grow up to be a rapist, so it's money well spent. All right.
You're just like, well, can this no? We need a new league that like half my hockey money. Like if it's $3,000, that should be paying for like the fucking ice time and the jerseys.
Yeah.
Why am I paying double price so you can pay off fucking?
It's like, don't you have insurance?
Yeah, like how? What the hell?
Yeah. No, this was a huge scandal. Like Hockey Canada, after this happened, they had to basically, because between this and then there was the thing with like the coach of the Chicago Blackhawks, like there was a bunch of like sex scandals in hockey. Like remember there was one where a player on the Chicago Blackhawks like basically said like I think it was like an assistant coach or something was like making passes at him, and they like fired the whole coaching staff. Like Joel Quenneville was the coach, and he was like one of the best coaches ever in the NHL, and then they're like, we he just like can't coach ever again. Although he just got signed to be a coach this year, and people are really mad about it.
Okay,
but so they were like, we need to like. They were literally like, this is in the height of the whole like hockey has a toxic masculinity. Problem. And
too many white people,
and they literally like fired the whole board of Hockey Canada, which is like a pretty big like organization. It's
buddy,
it's like a mini FIFA.
If you watch
kinda.
Hockey Canada right now, it's like a guy in a turban and 2 chicks.
Literally, that's what it is, and they just replaced them all, and they go, all right, problem solved. Fixed it. But now they have this thing to deal with. But yeah, she settled with Hockey Canada because it was a
If
World
you like
Junior.
Don Cherry, you're gonna really love Vivek Patel.
Bam, 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 bam.
That's good.
It's only for the Canadians.
Wow. Okay, so these guys are looking like they might win. And some of these guys, like,
innocent until last I checked in the court of law, and this applies to Diddy as well. You're innocent until you're proven guilty.
But by her own testimony, it's sounding like she's kind of saying, like, well, I didn't say.
Yeah, it sounds like she regrets doing it.
Which you should.
Yeah, you got a fucking train ran on you.
By a junior hockey team.
Oh, world junior hockey team, Ryan. Come on. You know how many fucking dudes are watching this being like just straight ass hockey fans being like, fuck, I'd let them do it probably.
I mean, buddy, that used to be the like.
I'd be a fucking sick hang, eh?
That used to be the like insult is like, yeah, your chick probably got like ran a train by a hockey player.
Yeah, and here's the thing: there's so many girls in Canada who absolutely have been in this identical situation, who got a train ran on them by like a junior B team for free, and they just go, yeah, that was fun. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I'm not talking about it, but I'm not going to the police about it either. But it's like, dude, you heard stories about this shit like all the time in hockey. Like, this was not an uncommon thing.
Yeah.
At all. Now, obviously, at first she was like, yeah, it was not consensual or whatever. And then now she's like, it was, but I regret it. And
dude, Me Too's are getting flipped over right and left. Candace Owens is on fucking Weinstein's Me Too.
Hey, everybody's saying she doesn't like
Me Too.
She doesn't like Jews. Everyone's saying she doesn't like the Jews. Look at her trying to get a innocent Jew out of jail. Good for her, Candace.
I haven't seen it.
No.
But I there is something like just inherently funny about the fact that she's doing it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And it's pointless. You're not getting fucking Weinstein out. He has like how many guilty? He has like so many. Dude, he has so many cases in different states and stuff. Like he's currently on trial or he's having a retrial in New York. But it's like he's got like 1 million charges in fucking.
Right.
I think he has federal charges as well as state charge. Like he ain't going anywhere.
There is it is interesting though, just like in general, like the court system's level of. Whether you have like people always say like it's easier to be rich and all this sort of stuff. Like it really is kind of like you're at like the whim of whether the judge likes you, all this stuff. Like, dude, I had a buddy that was on trial for something and it was like he hired a lawyer and essentially his lawyer was kind of like ignoring him.
Yeah.
And then he was just like, well, and he basically needed the lawyer to do discovery and the lawyer just like wasn't doing his job. And then he was like, oh, I want like a extension or whatever. And they're like, no. And he was just like, okay, you just have to go to the trial with your lawyer who you know has been like not even. He said he said he would call his lawyer and the lawyer would be like, what now? And he'd be like, what now?
Yeah, you're like, how much money I fucking pay you?
Oh, a crazy amount in this particular case, but it's like it's like life's on the line.
Yeah. I mean, fucking Shkreli said with his judge where he was like, they were going to like give him one of 2 judges. He's like, the one judge, he's like, was going to give me 25 years in jail.
It's wild.
He's
right?
like, I just got a judge that like,
you just happen to get a judge that doesn't have a bone to pick with you. Like,
yeah.
It really is like a luck of a draw if you're fucking in one of these situations.
I know.
A lot of it is anyway.
I know. But the question is like, should these, and I think I know the answer to this, but should these guys get exonerated? Like, will they be let back in the NHL? Because I think a lot of them are just like playing in Russia. One of them, I think, Alex Formanton, who I believe played for the Senators. I think he's like a construction worker right now. He's just like working in construction. I don't know why he wouldn't go over and play in Europe somewhere, but like, is it like, will the NHL? Probably the answer is no, similar to the Trevor Bauer.
Probably, yeah.
Trevor Bauer situation in Major League Baseball where he's basically blacklisted even though he's...
Yeah, that guy's been on a...
Yeah. He's literally just blacklisted. Like, he could be a 5th starter. The guy won the Cy Young.
Like, and he sort of... that guy sort of has exonerated himself, no?
He has. Like, dude, the main chick who, like made all these claims about him, like, he has all this evidence. She, like... recently got arrested for like all this crazy shit. Like there's audio and text and all this stuff, and he's just like blacklisted from Major League Baseball.
Yeah, it is interesting coming back and being like, see, I was right. And they're just like, yeah, we don't care.
Yeah, we don't care. You guys, you guys are replaceable. Also, you guys aren't even actively playing, so you probably still aren't quite, you're probably not quite as good than you were. And they're like, yeah, sorry.
On the other side of crime, the New Orleans criminals that got out is maybe one of the funniest things in the world.
Yeah.
Crime's been fucking wild this week, my friend.
I mean, just a bunch of murderers in Louisiana escaping. Not a good...
Oh, but the funny part, that's true.
Yeah.
And all of them, when they escaped, they essentially, these guys dug their way out of a trial, or dug their way out of the prison.
Yeah.
They basically had like a guard on the inside that they're kind of like,
someone helped them.
We're going to kill you if you don't turn off the water so we can get out.
Yeah.
And then there was someone else who didn't know. So there's some of the sort of stuff on the inside. The guard, who was the main guard, went to get a burger while they were escaping. So they put their blanket on top. Then when they escaped, they wrote over the hole like this wasn't even easy. And then within like 10 hours, all of them got caught on like the most basic shit.
Yeah.
The one guy goes to his baby mama's house. They're like, first place they looked, they found him.
Yeah.
The next guy.
Where else would you go?
The next guy's at a fucking, went to like his, maybe it was his parents' house, something like that. He's just standing on the porch, like, what took you so long?
Sure. I mean, when you're doing this, you're like, how far can you possibly get?
Another guy went to Bourbon Street and just had a drink.
Hey.
Like, you live in New Orleans. He goes down to Bourbon Street where they're fucking, every day's a parade.
I mean, that's what I would do. That.
That's what you would do?
I mean, that you're not like...
They didn't even change their clothes.
Dude, this is...
The guy's sitting there in a prison outfit on the porch.
No,
like,
they weren't in their prison. They did
some of them were, yes.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, I thought they said they all ditched their prison.
No, all of them did not ditch the prison outfit.
That's insane. But I mean,
it is.
You're getting caught. You're like, this is a weekend vacation.
Why? People have gotten out of jail before and then not got caught.
Well, the problem is first off,
you gotta at least why escape then if you're not gonna at least try?
How do you like just from a logistical perspective, you're like, how do you deal with like money and stuff? Like these guys aren't rich, so you're like, where do you get money from to survive? You can't have like a debit card or a credit card, nothing, because it will all just obviously link back.
Do you remember the guy from the Jinx? He went and put on a female outfit.
He was rich. That's the difference. He had fucking... the guy was a fucking like billionaire.
I think that if I got out of jail, you wouldn't find me. First of all, you go shave your head.
Yeah.
You put on a
Eyebrows.
hood. If you shaved your head, put on a hood, and then you run as far as away.
They're black. Their heads were shaved.
Exactly. So then you go...
Grow your hair out. It takes time, Ryan.
No, you put on a fucking do-rag and a shiesty, whatever. And a million...
That'll keep the cops away from you.
A million different things. Then I don't know, you go into you steal a bit of food, go into the forest for a little bit.
Okay, so commit a crime just off the jump.
Well,
that's
yeah.
the problem is you got to commit all these crimes.
You have to commit a few crimes. You go into a grocery store late at night with like a Indian like an Arab store clerk who's not really paying attention.
Yeah.
You take a bit of food.
These people are notoriously not
You take some food.
Do-ragged.
All right, so you take some food. Then you find yourself into like a forest or some shit like that.
Yeah.
You're there for 2 or 3 days.
Dude, these guys, if they're in the woods for 3 days, they go, I'd rather be in prison. They go, this is way worse than jail.
If I knew, the city, okay. If I got escaped from jail in New York, I think I'd be fucked. If I escaped from jail in Toronto,
yeah,
you wouldn't catch me.
Where would you go?
Where would I go?
Yeah.
Can't
go home.
First, I go to the baby mama.
You can't contact your family. You can't go home.
No, I would contact like a random girl that they would not even have thought of.
Okay.
Like I would have contacted like one girl that I'm like,
and you're like, you have some money? And she's like, no.
Yeah, I would contact a girl that they wouldn't think of.
Yeah.
Or like a person that they wouldn't think of that like, I know that it's going to take them a while to get down the hatch to this person.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Then I would try to get some money from them,
Okay.
cash money. And I would have to keep a really close eye on them to make sure they're not calling the cops. So
Sure.
the phone would have to go in the bucket.
They'd love that.
Well,
Yeah.
I would have to pick the right person.
Yeah,
but I would already have that figured out before I got out. I'm on the fly right now, but I would have
Right.
had 6 months to plan my plan.
Yeah. And you're on foot. You're on foot the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Until I got a skateboard, in which case now I'm skateboarding.
Steal a skateboard from a kid. Maybe a bike.
Yes.
Find a bike.
I'm skateboarding around in a shiesty. Then after that, I'm cooking my way down to Etobicoke.
Etobicoke. Okay. They'll never find you in Etobicoke. And what are you doing in Etobicoke?
What?
Where are you sleeping?
No, I would need to find, like, potentially, I would need.
Like, what's your 6-month plan?
I'd need a safe house, obviously.
Who's giving you that?
Well, first of all, I would go to the river in Pickering where there's like a bridge, so I'd be under the bridge for a bit.
Okay.
So I'd be a bridge guy for a little.
I don't think you like being a bridge guy.
And then I would go further north.
Yeah.
So I would keep going north, and then eventually, like
On your skateboard.
On my skateboard.
Just Ryan skating up the 400.
No, but before you know it, I'm in fucking Three Rivers, Quebec.
Okay.
And you don't even know, before you even fucking know it, I'm in Three Rivers, Quebec, on my way to the East Coast, and then I'm getting on a boat.
And you're stealing food the whole way. Or I guess you got some money.
Yeah, I'm stealing food.
Yeah, stealing food.
And I'm eating food.
And then what? And then you get to the East Coast and just you live there now?
I put on makeup. No, by the time I get to Three Rivers, Quebec, I'm a girl.
Okay.
You're forgetting this part.
Right, okay.
You're forgetting a pre-cardinal component.
I'm a trans prostitute now.
100% by the time I go there. And I go to a costume store, which I know my way around.
Sure you do. Yes, you do.
I'm on full women's outfit. I've got like I go to a thrift store and I get some women's clothes, and I'm wearing an extravagant women's outfit.
Okay.
I've got the fucking, wig on the whole
All the
thing.
stuff.
Which is
some
actually
like it hot style.
You can cook around Canada like that now without drawing too many eyes.
No, yeah, you're totally anonymous in Canada like that.
Yes. So I'm in the East Coast by this point.
Yeah.
I lose the skateboard once I get to Halifax. Once I get to Halifax, I lose the skateboard. I don't need it anymore.
Yeah.
Keep the girl outfit.
And then you sneak it to a shipping container and hope to make it over to Europe? I think if you get to Europe,
I think I leave the skateboard.
If you get to Europe somehow, you're fucking
That's
good.
the plan. Once I get to Nova Scotia, then I take a boat to Europe.
Yeah.
Full trans again.
No, it would actually be not a bad strategy is you go somewhere in somewhere like in the GTA, Greater Toronto area, and if you could somehow get into the trunk of a nice car, that car will get stolen at some point and just get fucking put in a shipping container and sent over to Nigeria. And then you're
Classic
good.
Canadian hack.
Classic Canadian hack, and you're just in free trip to Nigeria.
You just get in the trunk of someone's car and then it gets stolen.
It's guaranteed if it's a nice car. It's just like find a Range Rover, you just hide under some blankets, and before you know it, you're in Nigeria.
Classic. One escapee, Kendall Miles, was found hiding under a car. So he just went and hid under a car.
You go, he's probably under there. He goes, this is smaller than my prison cell.
By the way, I'm not going to hate on the hiding under a car because if that might have been temporary.
Yeah, it was temporary.
That was actually one of the better hiding spots is under the car.
Yeah.
Multiple inmates were caught wearing the exact same jail clothes.
Okay.
One inmate was hanging out at a relative's house, sitting on the porch.
Okay.
Officials say 4 were still on the loose, but then one turned out to be still in the jail the whole time. So it's a calamity
he was
of
in the
errors.
jail the entire time.
Calamity of errors.
Yeah. This is what happens when you pay correctional officers $28,000 a year.
Yeah.
Is you get what you pay for with this stuff, it seems.
I think that I could get out. I think I could get out 100%.
It'd be tough. It's tougher than it seems.
Yes, but you have 6 months to plan it.
Yeah, or more. Yeah, it's all if you have
especially if you're a criminal. Don't forget, criminals have more people that they probably know that are in crime.
That's true. I mean,
I don't even know any criminals really.
Yeah, if you can somehow get your hands on a fake passport, then that's where you're good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and just fucking dip out of there.
So, boys, it's almost summer. It's time to get jacked. It's time to get shredded. It's time to get yoked. We're out here,
baby, lightweight.
and we're talking about Fitbod. There's a lot of fitness influencers out there trying to sell you less for more. Fitbod combines the workout planning and tracking you need to stay consistent and make progress. I've been on Fitbod. I've been using it for years now. And
It's fantastic.
By the way, I don't know if you know, I'm the lightest I've been in 3 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I actually
Getting trim.
Dude, yeah. Well,
too.
and getting trim, it's not that hard.
No.
Work out, eat nice.
Get some steps. Get your steps in.
So this is an app that if you have not tried it already, pop on over, give it a shot. You're already working out. You might as well try it. You type in what you've got in the gym. Sometimes you're doing body weight workouts just in your house.
In a hotel, house, whatever, in the basement.
I actually have a few odds and ends in my house that I've been just doing them in my house sometimes because the gym will close, things like that.
Sure.
Or at the hotel gym closes, or you're at a hotel gym that doesn't have that much stuff.
Yeah, which happens a lot. not.
Again, that's not everyone's main problem. Probably the biggest things you want it for is just the things you'd want a personal trainer for without actually having a personal trainer.
Tracks everything.
Tracks everything. You don't have to think. It's simple. You're not using your brain nonstop to be like, oh, what did I do? What did this? It's just there.
Yeah.
So then you can just focus on getting yoked.
Has all ideas for all these different exercises you never think of.
Ones you never would have thought of, muscles you haven't thought of.
Yeah. Muscles you didn't even know existed.
Muscles you didn't know existed, and until they start popping, then boom, 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 boom. Hey,
Hey.
who's that? Danny Polishchuk is glowing up again? Hey, I can't stop glowing up.
Can't stop.
Fitbod creates a personalized workout routine based on your goals, your fitness level, available equipment, workouts that adapt to your growth, so each workout is challenging enough to push you to make progress. Finely tuned by experienced certified personal trainers. So level up your workout with customized fitness plans that work for you, and over 1,000 demonstration videos they have on there. So level up your workout. Join Fitbod today. Get your personalized workout plan. 25% off your subscription, or you can try the app for free. Zip Zero for 7 days at fitbod.me/boyscast. That is, fellas, FITBOD.me/boyscast. Fellas, make this season your best yet with nutritious 2-minute meals from Factor. Eating well has never been this easy, so just heat up, enjoy, giving you more time to do what you want. By the way, they come once a week.
Yep.
It keeps them cold because it has a pretty cool casing that it comes in.
It right away. You can sit there in your little lobby or your front porch.
Sit there in your little lobby for a day. It's no big deal. You pop them in. You're not thinking anymore.
Nope. No cleanup, which I like. My favorite part.
No cleanup. You can ditch the wife because there's no cleanup.
Yeah, you don't even need a wife anymore.
You don't even need a wife anymore. There's no cleanup.
It's great.
It's the perfect meal. I'm on the Protein Plus ones right now, and I take them out of the thing and I put it on the plate. So
That's weird because I'm generally the fancy guy. And
I know, but
I don't do that.
I like it better when I plate it.
Oh, see, I don't.
You're
plate
not
it.
into.
I just eat it right out of the bowl.
I'm not normally into the plating.
It's in the corner out of the bowl.
Factor powers your day with satisfying breakfast, on-the-go lunches, premium dinners, guilt-free snacks and desserts. It's easy to savor more this spring. Factor meals pack on the flavor with none of the fuss. It's time to get started. You've waited long enough. Throw out those chips in your, you've got whatever nonsense you got going on in that cabinet of yours. Take it, throw it in the garbage. Order some Factor meals. Get on it. It's this summer. We're getting jacked. We're getting
yoked.
I told you already,
shredded.
man. It's the fucking shredded summer.
Yeah.
It's time to get started, fellas. We're doing factormeals.com/boyscast50 off. OFF. Boyscast50 OFF. Use the code Boyscast50 off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. I mean, if you're not going to at least try it for the first one to get 50% off, you're crazy.
What are you doing?
That is code Boyscast50 off. Factormeals.com/Boyscast50 off for 50% off plus free shipping. By the way, Chicago PD, I know we talked about Void, because it's actually one of my impressions I could do pretty good.
Yeah.
So I go, I'm going to give you one last chance. I'm going to give you one last chance. Okay, so anyways, that show is of crime shows, and I have more crime things. I'm not even...
Do you like fire shows or just the PD shows?
No, fire shows suck.
Okay.
That is the craziest. I've been going through them. I've watched them all, and maybe some people like my reviews of cop shows. Some people don't like my reviews of cop shows. This one is the craziest one you've ever watched in your life. So every episode, he beats the shit out of someone.
Okay.
He takes the criminals down to the dock, and they start chaining fucking cement blocks to the guy's legs, and they're gonna throw him in the river until the one cop's like, "Come on, man, we got to bring him into the station." He goes, "All right." He lives to play another day, and they act like he's
the good guy.
And then on top of that, they have like a cage in the police station where they just put criminals there, and then everyone goes upstairs and he just beats the shit out of them. Every single case, they have someone comes in and he goes, we need the information. And he grabs a knife. He starts cutting off the guy's ear.
What?
Another guy, he's
Chicago?
in Chicago. He just goes to the criminal's house and just starts cutting off his ear in the police station, by the way.
Yeah.
He pulls out a knife in the police station, has the guy in his torture chamber.
It's not he's threatening. He's actually doing it.
Yes, the guy's starts cutting off the guy's ear. Nothing ever happens to him. He always just business back to normal.
Yeah.
And they sort of like pitch him as like, honestly, like he's honest but fair. He's like every single day.
But they're not corrupt like in like doing crimes standpoint. They do whatever they need to do to kind
it's more of that, yeah.
Okay.
And then it's honestly the answer to that question is honestly too complex. I'm not going to get into it.
Layers to Chicago PD.
So then on top of that, so he beats up a guy every episode. He cuts off a guy's ear. He's always like threatening to shoot people, knocking out their teeth, beating, breaking people's fingers, smashing their legs. It happens every single episode.
And it's this one guy who does it?
Yeah, the one guy. But the other guys, a few of the other old heads are in on it.
Okay, they get in on it.
That's just the way they do it.
Okay.
Yeah, he has a cage that he brings him in. His son's involved with crime. His son goes with the head guy from the mafia to go whack another guy. Every second case, they can't, every second case, they have to lay off it because someone in the precinct is directly involved in the...
Oh, okay. So so it's one of those. A lot of corruption.
Oh, yeah. Every second case is like, oh, this is his buddy from high school that did the crime, so he's got to, go easy on it. His son's the actual murderer in the next one. The girl is actually, the guy knows that she murdered a guy, so they've got to fucking go easy on him. It's like...
All right.
But the funniest part is just the extent to which he's literally killing people and cutting off ears and all this sort of shit.
All right. Well, I might have to give it.
He takes a guy to there's a guy in the hospital.
What season are we in?
Guy commits a crime in
40?
a hospital. They're not even work in the hospital. He brings them to the basement of the hospital and then just starts kicking the shit out of the guy in the hospital.
Okay.
It's not even just brings him to the basement of some random hospital and just tortures the guy for the information.
Hey, man, sometimes you got to get the info.
I don't think Black Ops site guys are doing business like this guy's doing.
It's so crazy. You could just be like, hey, I have a Chicago cop show. 12 seasons.
Oh, Dick Wolf does this. He goes, this is what Dick Wolf, his wife wants to go on vacation. He goes,
oh, Dick Wolf.
He goes, he's Jewish and cheap.
Yeah.
And he's like, he doesn't want to go on vacation. He's like, honey, we only have, $10 trillion right now. He's a gazillionaire, right?
Literally net worth 1.2
And then Dick Wolf's just walking down the street and he's walking down the street and he sees fucking Ohio Street and he's like, honey, I've got another idea for a cop show. Ohio PD. And then he's like, sees a first responder. He's like, what a first responder.
Yeah.
Fireman. There's one.
Yeah, he's just fucking dude. This guy is a money printer.
He bangs out ideas. He goes,
That's because the same ideas over and over again.
okay, you say, Dick, what do you have for us?
Dick, what you got?
Toledo PD.
Oh, that's fucking you're a goddamn genius, Dick. You did it again.
We already have Toledo PD. Okay. Toledo Special Victims Unit.
Oh, my God.
Toledo Firemen.
How do you think of these?
Toledo First Responders. There, I'm on a roll right now. Actually, he's the richest man alive.
Oh, dude, $1.2 billion.
He's off. He has his money stored though too, because that's why he's not on the top 10 charts. Because you would know that it's Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Dick Wolf. But I think Dick Wolf has his money in offshore accounts, so you don't actually know how much he has.
Well, he probably researches crime. So
he doesn't want you to think differently of him.
Well, he knows so much about crime that he's probably doing a little. Wouldn't that be a great end to the Dick Wolf fucking story arc? You know, this guy's a crazy mob boss.
That'd be fucking incredible. Okay. On the topic of somewhat crime,
Yeah.
because it's all crime. I have one thing that's not crime oriented, but DHS says it's in beginning stages of vetting process for Immigrant reality show.
I love this.
It's a 10 out of 10.
This is so funny. Man, this is the most American shit I've ever heard of in my life.
Fucking doesn't get much better
Let
than
you
this.
compete for
Also
citizenship.
end of an empire shit a
Kind
little.
of, I know. You go, we're going to let you compete in a reality show.
Department of Homeland Security is reviewing a reality show where immigrants would compete in American citizenship. Does Donald Trump give them the citizenship card at the end of it?
That's the thing.
Donald Trump comes down and they've got him strapped up like he's, Tommy Lee coming down from.
I actually kind of figured out their issue here. And that because a lot of people are against this and they're like, this is wrong.
Well, some people don't like the challenges. They thought it was in poor taste.
But they also think
gardening challenges.
Yeah, gardening challenges, berry picking challenges. But they're like, you shouldn't. This is not how you get citizenship. However, what they should do is be like, you compete to win a Trump gold card, which that is you just need $5 million, right? Like those are for sale. You just need $5 million.
You're thinking,
right? So they go, that's the prize.
You're thinking
$5 million to get a Trump gold card.
I'm listening.
And everybody knows you go, yeah, you can just, if you have $5 million, you can just buy one of those. And then that way you're winning $5 million. You're not winning citizenship, but the $5 million goes to buy a Trump gold card.
They should hire you as a consultant.
Bingo, bango, we're done so.
Yeah. Moving on, next question.
But seriously, that's what it should
Well,
be.
this is what you're missing is they want to hand out a couple every episode. So
That's-
it's
I
like,
know, that's-
you're at $15 million per episode.
I understand that. I understand it's not. Well, that's the thing is it's like one season where the single prize is $5 million, aka.
I'm sure, but then you have like 80 million illegal immigrants, and like, so you have like, okay, we have 10 million illegal immigrants. How many people would? Let's say you have like 60 immigrants competing for this prize, right?
Yeah.
And then 59 of them, it's like back to El Salvador. I feel like people wouldn't want to watch that. They need
High stakes, Ryan.
I know, but I feel like people need.
Everybody knows the key to TV, high stakes.
I don't think women would want to watch that. They like to see the heartwarming story of the guy who gets it.
Yeah.
They need more people getting it, I feel like.
Yeah, what if like part of the thing is, okay, we're going to start this first challenge in Mexico, drop them off and go, later, idiots.
Oh shit.
It's like a one of those like Spike TV shows where they're pranking the contestants. They go, all right, so first challenge starts in Mexico.
They just
You
go
dumb idiots, we just deported you all.
Oh my god.
You thought you were getting American citizenship? Retards.
We have a challenge. 9 they have 20 Mexicans on each side, and they're just like, okay, whoever can fit more of you in this hatchback wins fucking today's rose.
And get back into Mexico wins the rose.
Uber Eats races. Do you think it's? I don't know what the challenges are, but I want to pitch Uber Eats races.
Yeah.
You know, and whoever can do the most Uber Eats deliveries in one day, rain or shine, hail.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Rain's a big one.
And then you
On
have
the
just
bike.
like some fat American being kind of like, you know, testing, like, you know, looking at the thing like, bag's a little crumbled.
My fries are cold.
That's docking points, huh?
He goes, sir, I cannot get your fries not cold.
I mean, it's immigrant Hunger Games.
Yeah, basically.
Border hopping. You know,
Border
definitely
hopping.
these are kind of,
I mean, some of the real ideas were like making them go like mine gold.
you know, work at a convenience you work at a convenience store, and then whoever does the perfect change, you know what I mean? Anyone who screws up the change without having to use the till.
Sure. Yeah. Where someone does the thing where it's like they give you extra money because they just want perfect change back. And
Yeah.
do it in your head. You go, you're an American.
This
now.
guy's an American. Oh, so the thing you just said, they did have wild ideas where they go, he said the Heritage Challenge will be tailored to specific locations. A Gold Rush Challenge in San Francisco, for example, Pizza Challenge in New York, or a NASA Challenge in Florida to showcase how cool America is. So these guys are pandering.
Shoot you into space. Sayonara.
Catapult.
How about this? If you and this is a truly American thing, and this is actually like the test of whether you are an American, is if you beat Joey Chestnut in a hot dog eating competition.
That would be
instant
good.
citizenship.
Yeah, instant. I think that should just be
Immediate.
anyway.
Like you just go, if you win the fucking Coney Island hot dog eating competition, you are an American.
Fair is fair. Come on.
That's fair. I mean, it's impossible, but
I think they're pandering to Homeland Security when they kind of say like, oh, well, showcase the thing. Like it's good, actually good for America.
well, yeah, for sure. I mean, they have those like border shows. Like obviously they sign off on all of those ones, like the custom shows.
You have to go to San Francisco and rush for gold. I was thinking it's more like bar back challenge and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But they're trying to
Watch a gay pride parade. First row, San Francisco. Not be horrified. You like that? You really want to be an American? This is what being American's about.
Boston slur challenge.
Who can find the most slurs?
That is so funny. Yeah, they bring him to New York City and they force him to watch a fucking child story hour.
Drag queen story hour. You like this? This is what it's about being American. Go, I'm gonna go home. This is not what I signed up for.
You know what I was thinking too, because Pride Week has begun.
Pride weeks.
Pride month has begun.
Pride season.
I don't know if you saw, but like I don't know if Canada did it, but UK, Germany maybe, some of these other countries, they issued like a travel warning for gays.
Yeah.
Or because of the trans stuff, and they're just like, we issue a warning to go to America because it's so homophobic and all this sort of
Sure,
stuff.
yeah.
But it's just like, it's so funny to me because imagine a Jewish thing, right? Where like they go, hey, we're issuing a Jewish warning where you can't go to this country, and you go, what do they do there? They go, oh, they do a month-long parade for honoring Jewish people. You go, are you sure this is like unsafe for me?
Yeah, for sure.
And you go,
yeah, every city has a giant parade.
yeah, you go, oh my God, what are they doing? Is it like Iran where they throw gays off the building? You're like, every metropolitan does a month-long fucking celebration.
Flags
and then, by the
everywhere.
way, they have 40 other days celebrating other than that.
Yeah, and you go, wow, this seems dangerous.
And they're on TV, they're high positions in politics.
yeah,
You go,
everything.
travel
Every
warning.
corporation sponsors them and gives them money to do do this simple
you go,
behavior?
oh, this parade must be like, is it like the Klan parade where it's like very frowned upon? You're like, no, it's sponsored by banks.
Yeah, you go, I don't know. It seems dangerous. I mean, Donald Trump.
So everyone must be really against that. Actually, it's very, you'll lose your job if you're against it.
Yeah, you go, it's mandated, state mandated.
And you go,
Very
ooh.
spooky. Or maybe they're trying to just kind of low-key give him a wink, being like, a lot of gay shit going on in America. If you just want to, maybe pick somewhere like maybe Croatia or something for your holiday.
They're trying to send them somewhere less gay.
Yeah, go, hey.
It's a gay travel advisory, so you know.
A lot of gay shit going on there. It's like it's a travel advisory for the boys. You go, hey.
We're going to issue a gay travel advisory for if you're traveling to America.
Tons of gay shit going on.
To do gay shit. You go, are you saying it's bad to go there if you're gay or good? Let's just say,
hey,
don't go there.
Not saying in one way or another, but just read between the lines.
Read between the lines here.
Yeah.
We're issuing a June travel advisory for New York City.
Specifically June.
Buddy, I went there, and let's just say you don't want to be there.
No.
You get caught in that parade, my friend.
Yeah, no. By the way, I'm looking up Dick Wolf's filmography here. He's got a new banger coming out, which maybe you couldn't even think of.
I'm listening.
Law and Order, Hate Crimes.
Really?
Yeah.
It is funny that Dick Wolf plays both sides of the card, man.
Yeah.
Because Dick Wolf does have his shows that are just like Mariska Hargitay nowadays is just. I mean, theirs is the the special victims unit, so that's a little more fair because that is fair where you have most of the perpetrators are going to be dudes doing sex crimes. Like that's gonna be your woke one, right?
Yeah.
But it does. It's funny because he has he has literal shows where it's like the cops are talking about the good old days of when they used to get to like murder criminals,
sure.
and they're the good guys.
They're the good guys, yeah.
And then they have the other like he plays all sides of the coin.
You're assuming Law and Order, Hate Crimes isn't them doing the hate crimes. Right? They might be doing this, and you're like, whoa, holy Bay City.
Law and Order Hate Crimes. They already have enough of that. Like FBI was basically Law and Order Hate Crimes. Every single one was like the white supremacists are going to bomb things.
Dude, he has 9 shows on TV right now.
I thought that's low. That seems low to me.
Dude, he has CIA, On Call, Law and Order Toronto, FBI International, Law and Order Organized Crime. He just had a show canceled, FBI Most Wanted.
He's the richest man in the world.
FBI. Chicago Med, Chicago PD, Chicago Fire.
He makes fucking Vladimir Putin look like he's begging for change in a potato sack.
SVU, and then regular Law and Order.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's not crazy to me. I think that's low. I would have thought 15.
Has
if I was to
any
guess.
producer ever had 9 shows on television running at one time?
I told you he's the richest man in the world, and I would have guessed more. If you put a gun to my mom's head and said, how many shows did Dick Wolf have? I said, I don't know, 70?
Yeah, I mean, he's had probably, looks like about 40 shows, but the fact that 9 of them are on right now.
If you get into one of those universes, you're set for life because it's like if anyone likes you, you get your spin-off.
Yeah. And again, it's like Law and Order. He's, Law and Order Toronto. He's just the creator, but it's like, what did you create? He just goes, Law and Order Toronto.
He said, this but Toronto.
Yeah, he goes, this but Toronto. Have fun.
Yeah.
Does he hire
if
the
you
people?
Need me, I'll be on my yachts.
Yeah, but does he hire the people? Or
he's standing right now. He has one leg on one of his yachts because he wants to ride both of them at the same time.
Or is this just like a Star Wars brand deal where he goes, yeah, you can put my fucking logo on your oranges?
Dick Wolf's not getting his hands dirty anymore.
but is he doing anything?
No.
Nothing. Just
I don't know. I actually don't know. Maybe he mucks around the writing.
Does he hire the showrunner?
Yeah, he might muck around for the first month of the procedures.
Okay. Crazy.
I think he might have a hospital one now. And like this guy's, he's wetting his beak. Yeah, he has Chicago Med.
Yes. Chicago Med. So there's his hospital. hasn't really had a lot of forays into the hospital stuff though. It's mostly just.
Have you seen he has North Dakota Post Office?
Soon.
Any government job, he's got his fucking greasy paws all over.
Soon. I mean, he probably goes on TikTok and he sees, dude, I love on TikTok right now how there's like influencers for every like shit job that exists.
I know.
Like literally like a dude works at a gas station with fucking 5 million subscribers and he's just like, my job at a gas station. And like, remember when we were in high school, you're like, I'll tell you what you don't want to do is wind up working at a gas station. And this guy has to continue working at a gas station.
He doesn't have to
keep his fucking
gig going.
sick gig on TikTok going. Like the guy's like probably like, yeah, I made enough money from my TikTok influencing to own a gas station.
I know.
now, where I was making fucking minimum wage running a gas station.
By the way, it just reminded me of this because there was that photo of Justin Bieber and girls were like, he's so hot. And then someone posted it being like, he looks at every guy in a Sudbury gas station, like or whatever.
Yeah.
But you guys remember that probably. But recently, Justin Bieber's fucking wife was on the cover of Vogue and he posted the craziest shit. He posted a whole thing being like, I just want to say that, this just put everything in perspective because just a year ago today, me and her were in like a huge Baldwin, I think her last name is, right?
Yeah,
She's
yeah,
a Baldwin.
yeah, she's
Me and Hilary, what's her name?
Hillary? No, Haley.
Hey, me and Haley Baldwin were in a big fight, and I was screaming in her face that she would never be on the cover of Vogue, and then it all came full circle. So I just want to say I was wrong and congratulate. It was like admits that that's what his fights look like. He gets
It's also crazy. She's like, I could absolutely be on the cover of Vogue. What are you talking about? That's not like that big of a deal for her.
Imagine getting in a fucking yelling match with your girlfriend, and you'll never be on the cover of Vogue.
Never be on the cover of Vogue. She's like, I can absolutely be on the cover
Like
of
the
Vogue.
gayest shit to yell at your chick.
Yeah, but that's not even like, it doesn't even make sense. You're like, yeah, I could. She's like, I've been offered to be on the cover of Vogue 10 times.
Well, he's saying she doesn't have it. Oh, you think you want to be on the cover of the Vogue? You'll never be on the cover of Vogue.
I was like, they sell those at the front of the grocery store. You'll never be on the cover of Vogue. Like, yeah, I could be on the cover of Vogue. It's not a crazy thing for me to do.
Also, I thought you were right with your tweet where you said the no tax on tips thing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it's coming down.
As soon as they said no tax on tips, you're just like, okay, so you tip less.
Yeah, I guess I'm tipping less.
Back to
We're
fif-
back to 15%.
Back to 15% for
Yeah,
sure,
back
right?
to 15%. I mean, this 20% thing, I go, sure, I guess.
Well, the government's not getting their cut anymore.
Yeah,
And then you're
only
ba-
federally, but still.
Well, then you're back to 15% at least.
Yeah, 15% seems reasonable. I mean, obviously, a million people have said, like, because it passed 100 to 0, which is pretty rare for that kind of bipartisan support for anything.
Yeah.
But, I mean, obviously,
Also,
all the jokes about how
everyone at our company is now paid in tips.
yeah, exactly. You're like, I guess all my money is tips. My service costs $1 and my tips are 10,000%.
There's gonna be so many people working that loophole.
Sure. I don't even know how that's going to work in practice because they must have some idea that that's going to be. They must have some limits or caps or something. I don't know, but I mean, it's good. It's a politician actually promised something and then did it.
Yeah.
That's good.
Well, Trump's been doing okay. This year, a good couple of weeks of banging out shit.
Hey man, for the most part, all the shit. I mean, the stock market's doing good. I mean, bonds not doing good, but seems for the most part this stuff's working.
I was actually thinking with the Qatar thing.
Yeah.
Because it's funny because
This is one of those things. Obviously it's a huge discourse online. I haven't quite been able to get to the bottom.
well, I think
of it.
the interesting part of it is
Yeah.
that the same with everything. There's like some people that have the idea that it's kind of like how even in comedy or our industries, a lot of maybe our friends that are liberal have these kind of like attitudes of like you shouldn't associate with them.
Yeah.
And I think that permeates to like the highest levels of the elite political affluent. It's kind of like you're not supposed to talk to them.
Sure.
Stay away from that.
I mean,
guy.
again, they definitely do lobby. Like, they are registered under like the foreign agents. Like, there's like a foreign agents like registration where if you're a foreign country, which every country does, like China, like all these countries pay tons of money to just kind of get some shine on them, I guess, and manipulate the narrative about them in Western media, and like so they're
Qatar's
saying
the number one money.
Qatar's way up there, but like they were saying, Tucker Carlson did some interview with some guy from Qatar, and then they're like some foreign agent like pays some PR firm, and then the PR firm, but they didn't have any proof of it. The only thing that like my only opinion on the Qatar thing is like because you see it a lot with the pro-Israel people now, where they're just everybody's like, oh, you're pro-Israel, they must be paying you, and then now everybody who's anti-Israel go, oh, well, you must be getting paid by Qatar, and you go, you have no proof of either of these things. You're just doing the same thing the other person's doing, and you picked a different country and you're doing it to that person.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I'm like,
do you think it's fair to say that pro-Israel people talk about Palestine the way that rich New York liberals talk about homeless people, where they maybe not rich New York liberals, rich people talk about homeless people where they're just like, I can't give him money, he's just going to spend it on booze.
yeah, kind of.
They go, we can't give him money, he's just going to spend it on guns.
Yeah, they're just going to spend it on guns. Yeah, we'd love to give them some food, but they're just going to take it and grind it down and turn it into explosives.
Is that fair to say?
It's pretty accurate, yeah.
But, well, it's kind of like they don't like America making alliances with the people.
I know they did give him the Qatar did give Trump a $400 million plane.
I was thinking with the plane, I would be the hardest politician to bribe in the world.
Yeah,
because I don't want anything.
Sure.
It'd be literally like some Saudi prince being like, we got you this like $4,000 piece of sushi, and I'd be like, what the fuck is you trying to poison me?
Where's the fucking wieners and beans, please?
So what are you doing? Like
I got you $4,000 wieners and beans. You're going,
what the fuck? They nailed it already. You don't need to be messing with a good thing.
Grab me a can and a knife.
Oh yeah, we brought you to the back of this bar or this restaurant, and it's the most fanciest restaurant in the world, and we're trying to do all this stuff to bribe. We're staying in a 10-star hotel, and I'd be like, this room is too big. I do not need a fucking...
Where's my stuff? I don't even remember what room I put my bags in.
I don't need a 12-room hotel. Get me out of here. I know. They'd have a hard time trying to bribe me, I think.
Yeah. I mean, everybody's got it.
I don't like stuff.
Yeah, you don't.
What could you possibly
That's the thing. Is I still don't understand. So Trump gets to keep the plane personally?
It goes into his presidential liberary.
Oh, okay. But it's like the United States government's keeping the
Technically, the United States government owns it. I think it's just
the new Air Force One.
They have to do all this stuff to get it up to specs.
Yeah, they got all the.
So they do all this stuff to get it up to specs, which does cost money. I think that the reasonable argument from the Republican side is kind of like, no matter what you think of it, it's just like not great optics.
Yeah, which I agree, but it's like, every country does some shit. Like, it's essentially, this is like lobbying. It's more overt lobbying instead of just paying someone cash to go, here's like an actual physical thing to have.
Yes.
Yeah, but is it much different than like the Statue of Liberty? I don't know. The Statue of Liberty, they didn't buy it. France gave it to them.
Yeah, I guess you
can't fly it.
I don't know the depth of what. I think that people were, saying that they kind of gifts like this are pretty common, but at the same time not this big, and
not from.
There's obviously like too much of a direct.
I guess there is the whole thing where they're just like, yeah, Qatar like fucking backs terrorism, and some people are like they were involved in 9/11 and all this stuff, and so I guess that's.
Trump doesn't seem to give a shit about that stuff right now. He's just letting it fly. He goes, oh, the prices are too high. Is that because of tariffs? No, Walmart's greedy.
Yeah, Walmart's greedy. We have a 2.8% profit margin, so. We can't really do much on this. I saw someone who works at Target on Reddit posted like, here's how we're raising all our prices because of the tariffs. Like all these like garbage fucking, like off-brand iPhone chargers are like doubling in price. And you go, all right. Well,
if they don't, but that's the thing. They're like, well, Walmart should just eat it. And you go, okay, but if Walmart just ate it, wouldn't that defeat the purpose of making foreign goods more expensive?
Yeah. Well,
which is allegedly part of it.
Well, I guess the thing is, Trump's thing is, he goes, the consumers are not going to pay for it. That's his ideal scenario, is the tariffs don't get passed on, and then these giant corporations just essentially eat it, and they're like, yeah, we're not though.
Yeah, we won't though. And if we do, someone else won't. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, Walmart could theoretically, like, if they're like, yeah, 3% of our goods are no longer profitable. Like at the end of the day.
Either way, aside from those things, he's been had a pretty good couple of weeks. I feel like.
Yeah, he's doing good.
He's sort of chalked up a few wins.
Yeah, he's doing all right.
I was looking at, because I'm going to San Diego.
Plus Biden has cancer now, and Jake Tapper's book, which is like literally
what's your take on the cancer?
I mean, the timing.
Seemed like you have something to say.
I mean, the timing of it is obviously incredibly suspicious, because literally
this should have been Kamala's time to shine right now, wouldn't it have?
I mean, the theory, I guess, behind this whole thing is that because with advanced prostate cancer, from what it sounds like when you get regular blood work, you have this thing, PSA levels or something, which detects prostate cancer. You're the president. You're the most you have the most.
You didn't forget to go to the doctor.
No, you're not allowed to forget to go to the doctor. Like, they test you constantly because you're the most powerful man in the world.
So they were hiding the test.
So they were essentially, and he had in 2022, he gave this speech. He was like in Delaware, and he literally in 2022, July 2022, Biden was like talking about Delaware and how the pollution was so bad.
He's talking about how much dick he lays in the. Remember that?
Yeah, but he literally in the speech he goes, and this is why I and so many other people have cancer. He said that in 2022, and then they go, that's just like one of his gaffes.
Oh.
But he goes, this is why I have cancer, like in 2022. But so obviously they were hiding it, and then they just had to get him past the finish line, get elected, and then he would just be like, I have cancer. Kamala Harris is the president now.
If you were the Democrat Party, you'd think you'd be right now saying like, obviously we fucking pulled some shit. It didn't work.
All right, you caught us.
No, but I think that you would have to say like, you'd have to have at least some scapegoats to like, even have some credibility where you go, we figured it out and it was like Dave, John, Tom, and we fired them all. Now we're good. Ugh.
Yeah, whoops. Yeah. But that's
like, you got to blame someone at least to move on politically.
At some point, you get caught in such a massive lie.
Your pants are so down.
Yeah, you're just like, there's nothing you can do. Like, you're like, we can't admit to this because this is so damaging.
Yeah, but there's two. It's impossible.
Trot out Jake Tapper with a book.
There's no situation where we can kind of be like, only Dave knew.
Yeah.
And we got rid of him.
Yeah, we had no idea. You go, everybody knew. You're like, everybody watching knew. And Jake Tapper's like, I had no idea. And you're like, are you retarded?
So some people kind of
Who's
saying,
buying that book? Imagine like how just brain dead you need to be.
And being like, what the fuck?
Oh my God. I can't believe it.
You know this business where people knew that Biden was in decline?
You know, everybody was saying he was clearly visibly in some sort of cognitive decline. I didn't see it though.
No, but the thing, just on the topic of government, I was looking at so I'm going to San Diego. By the way, buy tickets to San Diego because I sort of been on tour for the last 2 years, and then I came back to the summer, and I'm here for like a couple months, and I'm just like trying to be like insanely focused on all this shit.
Yeah.
But I have this one San Diego date in the middle of my 2-month focus session.
All right. And I'll be in Calgary, June 5th to 7th, Laugh Shop.
And Danny's going to be in Calgary, but my San Diego date, the issue is I'm like, well, I want to like really zone in and focus, but I have this one show to worry about selling tickets, so I can't even be like my normal ticket system. So I'm just like, if you're going to come, by the way, those shows almost always, we sold out 3 out of 4 shows the last 2 times I was in San Diego. Buy your tickets now.
Yeah.
So then I can focus on other shit and not worry. And I can look at the thing and be like, all right, 2 of the 4 shows are sold out. I'm back to business. We're doing more podcasting. We're booking cool stuff. We're making more sketches. We're building the system. And I can rest easy for the next 2 months knowing that this San Diego show has the tickets sold. Do me a solid. Anyways.
Help us help you.
Help us help you, RyanLongComedy.com. But
DailyComedy.com.
And what's your dates? Do you have
June 5th to 7th, Calgary, Alberta.
You're in a bit of the same situation as I am.
The great sovereign nation of Alberta.
Yeah. Well, San Diego's La Jolla, La Jolla, La Jolla, La Jolla.
3rd time's a charm.
La Jolla, where the show is. They're basically trying to secede from San Diego as a city, right?
Back to Mexico?
Yeah. No, so it's kind of basically San Diego is
they just want to be their own? No, they are their own city though, aren't they?
No, they're part of San Diego.
Oh, they're like the San Diego Metro kind of.
So all the taxes go together, and they're basically like, there's homeless people everywhere, all this sort of stuff, and they're misusing the money. They're spending all our money on progressive bullshit. We can't even, they're letting people set up. You pay all this money and fees and taxes to start a restaurant, and then people just open up carts outside your restaurant.
The hot dog cart thing?
But all that sort of same shit, and they're kind of like not happy about it. And a lot of rich people live in La Jolla, and they were just like, what are we doing here? Let's be our own city. Now, I kind of was looking at it because I was just like, is it possible to actually succeed? It looks like very difficult.
Oh, yeah.
It's almost impossible.
I don't know how it works in America. I know Texas. There's a talk about Texas.
There was a few loopholes. Cities, Beverly Hills, I believe it was, is their own their own city now, or something like that.
Yeah. There's some sort of something. Yeah.
It's not even Beverly Hills. It's the other one.
Malibu.
No, one of them. I don't know. Some of them. Yeah, whatever. One of those.
There's only 2 places.
But anyways, and then I think there was Staten Island, I think, tried to be their own city, and it generally fails because they do a vote, and the main city has to vote too, and they just be like, we'll vote out our fucking free money.
Yeah, all these tax dollars that we rely on that we misappropriate.
Yeah, but it's like the woman who's I guess in charge of La Jolla right now is kind of like on a big tangent trying to get out.
Right.
But it seems like it's kind of similar to the Alberta thing.
Go see Ryan there because he'll have some very tailored jokes to your city.
No, I'm not. I don't do it. I don't fucking get on that. I don't do that fucking local business. Maybe one joke here
Chris
and there.
Rock when we saw him at Air Canada Center?
Yeah.
And it's like Chris Rock is like, I was driving around today, I took a wrong turn, and I was in Oshawa? You're like, you were not fucking in Oshawa.
Took a wrong turn, landed in Oshawa.
Yeah, you were like, and everybody's like, yeah! yeah, fucking dirty schwa. You're like,
said Oshawa.
You were like, you were not in Oshawa. Like literally, like we're watching that. You go, he was not in Oshawa today. There was no way. You were sitting in your hotel room at the Four Seasons.
Hey, people do love a local reference.
I love a good local reference.
People love it when you're like, I was at fucking Tim's Bakery. I've been to Tim's Bakery.
Dude, literally, like the comedian in me is just like scraping the dirt off. I go, no, you weren't. You didn't go to Oshawa.
Well, the reason when I was thinking about this, sorry.
It's just literally like we've all been in a green room where the headliner goes, like I remember there was
it's a guy in New York being like, took a wrong turn and ended up in Connecticut.
Yeah. But there was like, I remember there's this one comedian in Canada who he always used to do this like bit where the bit included like university. It was like the university was like the best, and then there was like a college, and then like the shitty community college, and it was like shitting on the community college.
Oh, that's what they like. I just went to school in the community college.
Yeah, or whatever. It was something, and then like in the green room, he like shows up and he goes, "Hey, what's the community college here called?" Because he has to
you can fuck that guy.
Because he has to. Well, yeah, because he has to like write his joke in that like he needs those three. So he's like, "What's the community college here?"
You could really fuck that guy.
Yeah. So stupid.
I kind of
gets the biggest pops. Like literally, the crowd goes insane.
Oh, they love
every
that
time,
shit, man.
like,
Especially an older club crowd. Forget about it,
buddy.
But there's sort of I was thinking even in terms of like girls I've dated. If you were to put your finger on like a maybe city liberal chick,
yeah,
it's almost like.
Put my finger in a couple.
You put your finger in a city liberal chick. If Danny's checking for change, there could be some.
I know it's in here.
I feel like to some degree the best way to describe it. I'm trying to say it properly, but it's like they're much easier on strangers than they are on loved ones. So it's like they're like, for example, like with drug addicts, they would be very much like, we need to do everything we can. Whereas if this was your like brother and he like stole from you 9 times, you'd probably be like, we need to put our foot down.
Sure.
But if it was like a stranger, they would be like, well, it's not his fault.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
the farther I feel like with most people, the closer someone is in proximity to you, the more you give them benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
Whereas like a lot of city liberals, the farther someone is in proximity to them, the more benefit of the doubt they give them.
Well, because there's no socioeconomic factors that are affecting your brother. You can't just be like, oh, it's the world, the deck is stacked against him kind of thing, where you can, it's so much easier to just be like, oh, these.
Okay, but here's an example. In the immigration thing we talk about, right?
Yeah.
Okay, If someone heard about someone that they didn't know in the abstract that came to America and was getting pushed out or was getting deported, they would be very much like, that sucks. Like, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. We know multiple friends who have come here, got deported, and all of our friends who probably would be saying that same thing would also be like, You stayed fucking 2 months over your visa? What are you doing?
Yeah, what are you doing?
They would put the accountability on that person that they knew.
Of course.
But if they didn't know him, they'd probably like assume.
Yeah. There's a lot of elements to that though, because
let's say like a drug addict.
Yeah, and you're like also like, oh, this person's like coming from a poor country for a better life. That's dangerous. And you're like, yeah, you're just going back to Ottawa.
Well, maybe that wasn't the best example, because then you could go on. You're going one under and being like, well, that guy's not white, and they like white people more. Fine,
that is a factor.
And there's that factor too. But I think there is something to be said about my theory, where it's like the farther out in proximity they are to you, the more that they are generous with their empathy.
Yeah, and it's a group too versus an individual. Like they're empathetic to an entire group.
So you're saying that you're more summing it up because like they just have their groups they like and they don't. But I don't.
Well, but also they're like, I'm being empathetic to 1 million people versus empathetic to one person. Like, I'm getting more bang for my buck here.
With my empathy distribution?
My empathy is getting distributed a lot farther.
But even if it was one guy,
yeah.
Like for example, and you want to remove all those factors, if it was one guy in the abstract that was like sleeping on outside of someone's apartment building and the cops got rid of him, they might have more empathy. If it was someone on their block that they've met before, they'd be like, they got to get rid of this guy.
Sure. Yeah, this guy's kind of bringing the property value down.
Yeah, that one's easier.
It's a bit of a NIMBY
That
thing.
one's easier because I guess also you could say, well, it affects them now. But I'm actually not positing that it's just the affects them. I'm saying that there's like a proximity issue to like people that I know, where it's like I watch them in my real life being like a story that happened to like someone that they was in the abstract, them being like very sympathetic, and the same story that happened to someone like at their work to them being like, yeah, I mean, dude, what do you gotta get your shit together.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. I'm sure there's some sort of explanation to it.
I mean, it could be like a mix of a lot of things where it's like a bigotry of low expectation thing. It could be a this, it could be a that. But I do think that there is like a pretty good correlation with like the amount that you're empathetic versus the proximity to actually knowing them.
Yeah.
It's like 7 degrees of empathy.
I think it's just easier. It's just easier to be empathetic to this like thing that's like person that's, not.
My theory isn't even that much on the why. It was just something that I was like,
it's
I think that probably tracks.
Yeah, it's like the amount of people who are like, probably will be more likely to give to like a GoFundMe for like a dog that gets injured, some random thing that they see on social media, and you go, yeah, there's a homeless guy with a dog outside of your house that you walk by every day and you've never given him $1.
Yeah, not $1,
yeah, and you go, why not? You're like, there's a dog you can help right there. You walk by him every day. You go, yeah.
I know we're going long this episode, but I have to fucking talk about a couple of these seductions Reddits, and maybe we'll continue those on the Patreon.
We'll continue a bit of a tease.
But the seduction Reddit is the funniest Reddit. So it's called Our Seduction, and it's kind of like pickup artistry, like the game kind of stuff.
Yeah.
However, it's all like nerds that are clearly like really bad at women.
Yeah.
And I'll read a couple of them. So, okay, so they talk about like, hey, these are the lines that I'm using to pick up women. These are the lines I'm picking up women. Can you guys help me? Tell me if it's better or not. I don't mean to be rude, and I certainly don't want to be creepy, but what I do is I gesture by bringing my hands up and cupping them around the breast area and say, then I say, these breasts are amazing. Then after she blushes and says, thank you, I follow up with, I don't mean to be out of line, but would it be okay if I have a feel? And what do you guys think? What should I tweak?
Yeah.
So it's a lot like a 10-year-old like working out his fantasy. It's like,
I just want to touch some boobs.
so I walk up to the woman and I look at her and I don't want to be creepy or anything, so I just make a cupping motion. I go, those look amazing. And then I proceed to ask her if I could cop a feel. What do you guys think? Is
Yeah.
it good? Not good?
I go, try it. Try it out.
Try.
You gotta get this stuff battle tested.
It's funny because it's supposed to be like a pickup Reddit, but every question is like, who loves tits? Say I.
Real boob people.
What do you think? I want a girl with a big ass and big boobs. I just want a girl with big ass and big boobs.
You said it twice, by the way. That was
I know, that's why.
That was the post and the comment underneath.
0 upvotes. This is in Seduction. A guy goes to the Seduction Reddit, just post, love big asses. I'm looking for a girl who looks like a porn star, has a big booty, big boobs, high sex drive, likes to tease. I'm expecting this girl to become Muslim and wear modest clothes when around family, but wear skin-tight and revealing clothes when family is not around, and follow the religion, but not overly religious. I am a simple guy who goes to work, comes home and relaxes, and would like to be accompanied by a girl and suck and fuck each other. I am in Atlanta metropolitan area. Let me know if interested.
I love how
or if you have someone who might be interested.
if you have someone.
Also,
I know just the gal for you.
Also, if you know a girl that fits it.
I love it. I love that it starts off with being like, this is what I'm looking for. And then it's just like a classified ad. He goes, if there's anybody in here, because, tons of big booty, busty chicks are in the seduction forum looking for men. That's where all the best guys are.
What's up, fellas? Wondering if you can help me for something. I'm looking for a 10 out of 10 woman who can suck me off and become Muslim. Can anyone point me in the right direction?
That's where all the top guys are.
I love how anyone in the seduction forum is going to be like, actually, my friend would be fucking perfect for this.
Got a couple leads.
I have a few leads for you. So, if you know anyone who'd be interested, I have to point out the obvious. Oh, this is, I think, a guy telling his I hate to point out the obvious, but your boobs are fantastic. I used that opener 3 times last night. This even gets better.
Sounds like it worked.
This guy thinks he cracked the code. The title is, I hate to point out the obvious, but your boobs are fantastic. And the subtext, I used that opener 3 times last night at a gay bar on chicks with low-cut blouses. The first time, I got a thank you, but she was on her way out the club, so nothing happened. The second time, she jumped up and down, had me feel the difference between Wonder Bra and actual boob.
Nice.
Then she had me motorboat her. She said it was really nice that guys were noticing. The third time, she told me about the Wonder Bra, had me feel them, and then started dancing with me.
Why are you in a gay bar?
Well, she thinks she's gay.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he goes, I figured it out. Figured out a real life hack. Make women think I'm gay.
This is a guy at the Seduction forum figured out a life hack that you go to a gay bar and tell girls your fucking boobs are amazing.
So fucking hot.
Me and
and then at some point you go, I'm not actually gay. You want to go home? She goes, ew, no. What the fuck are you doing here?
Me and my friends did that one day at Gay Pride. It's probably like maybe one of the top 5 I've ever laughed in my life. I think it was like with Waldo, a bunch of probably like 5 of us, right? We were fucking drinking all day, and then we went to Pride, and then we went to this like bar with like I guess it was just like mostly normal chicks, but like somewhat of a gay bar, and then all 5 of us like we took our shirts and put them in a thing and acted like we were gay, and we were just going up to everyone and be like, oh, you look at this one. And then we had at one point I remember me and my buddy had 2 girls sitting on our laps, and we're like, you go, girlfriend, and then no, you go. And then we were all like, I was literally just like cry laughing, and we actually had it's like all 5 of us with the exact same thing where we put our shirts in the thing.
The girls are just like, well, a straight guy wouldn't wear a shirt like that, so I guess that's what it is.
That was the opener. I used it at gay bar. Boys, I cracked pussy.
Did you get any? No.
All right, fellas, subscribe to our Patreon. There's a few more of these, but also a ton of stuff. We got Our Ginger's Black, seen on patreon.com/.
You got a little ginger in you. And I've heard rumors that you had a little black in you.
Patreon.com/TheBoysCast. We'll see you over there. Peace.